And welcome to Vigilante-Verse, episode 9.
9.
We're creeping up to 10. It's exciting.
And then what's after that, Chris?
The one between 10 and 12.
Yeah, we don't know how to count.
I don't remember.
Yeah. I'm Sonig.
I'm sick, but I'm Chris.
And I'm Dan. Hello.
I know, I was sick last time, and now you're sick.
I know.
I better not get sick.
Dan,
that's all I'm
you have to
saying.
complete the cycle.
It's bound to happen. I haven't taken a deep breath since Wednesday.
Oh,
I
jeez.
feel terrible.
That's not good. So we have a lot to talk about. Well, kind of.
Yes.
We have our usual Legends of Tomorrow that we have to talk about. We also have Black Lightning. No Flash and no Arrow this week. Obviously no Supergirl until April 19th, I think it was?
Yeah, around there. That's around when the Flash, too.
Yeah, I was kind of bummed that we didn't have Arrow this week because I
We
was
all
getting
thought-
ready for it.
We all thought Arrow was on last
I know.
night, too. And
I was thinking with Supergirl, I'm so behind. Like, I'm trying to remember what's going
I
on
don't
on that
even-
show.
yeah,
It's been
I have
so
to-
I've been
long.
I've been catching. I only have like 3 episodes left.
Oh, so
Yeah,
maybe
but-
you can fill us in
Yeah.
so I don't have to rewatch
Right,
the latest
right,
episode.
I can- yeah.
mean, they'll do like a recap like previously on Supergirl.
I really-
I'm hoping
But-
it's like a
and-
5-minute recap. Though.
I know.
I need it.
And I mean, just real quick, this season of Supergirl I think is actually really good.
Oh,
right
now that you're all
I-
caught
I'm-
up.
Are you
Well,
all
not,
caught up?
Not
No, he's
fully,
got 3
not
episodes
fully,
left.
but like I just saw the what was the winter break episode when basically Rain beats the crap out of Supergirl.
Yeah, that's
And
pretty
that was
good.
the
yeah,
huge
yeah, yeah.
cliffhanger. Oh my god, when you guys watched that, you must have been like, "Oh my god, what's going on?" Because after that
I
episode, I
know.
was like, "Shit."
Did we discuss that or we didn't have our podcast?
I don't think
That was
so.
before.
That was before
No,
we
that was
started.
before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
That was
just getting to the episodes
Okay.
where you guys talked about them on here. 'Cause
Yeah,
I'm
wait
remembering
till you
things.
get to
The,
her.
the spoiler alerts that we like.
Right,
blatantly
that's what
told
then I
you
would be like,
about.
Yeah,
I
wait,
know.
wait till you get to Rain, like just in the middle. She's like, what? They're at the ice rink.
The
or
ice rink,
something.
yeah, like, wait till
I
you
always
get
think
to
of
that
that. And it's
episode.
like,
Yeah, I
oh,
remember
like,
you guys talking about that. Now I'm like, oh,
I'm calling
shit.
you away, and she
Because
just
I remember
leaves
you
her
guys,
daughter.
you guys
Yeah.
talking about like, oh, how does she do this with a daughter? And I was thinking the same thing. I was like, geez, like,
Well, yeah, because you have no idea like what's going on yet because you didn't even know who this character was because she's only in
right.
the season.
And
Yeah.
now, yeah,
Yeah. So you'll get it
Yes.
once you're
We'll get
caught
there.
up. Then we can like fully. You
I
know.
really like Supergirl though. Like, I think
Yeah.
I
I'm
really
glad.
like
It's
it,
getting
yeah.
better and better.
It does
for
a good
sure.
job with like Superman references, Supergirl,
Yeah.
like DC references
Yeah.
with Superman related stuff.
I mean, I just have the issue with Clark Kent, but you know,
yeah.
yeah.
They brought him back like it seemed like he was
I
going to be a
don't-
part of the show, and then
At the
I
beginning
know.
of the 3rd season or the 2nd
I think it was the
season?
second
First.
season.
Second.
He was in
second.
first and then part of the second.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't like that? You didn't like
So
Clark?
okay, when it comes to Superman and Clark Kent, I am very like anal retentive about it all because I need to have the perfect. I grew up reading all the comics, so I'm a huge Superman fan.
Right.
Yeah.
So having, all, you can't like. I don't know how to say it. Like you have Christopher Reeve, who was like one of by far the best Supermans
Yeah.
in that time.
The best in my
Yeah,
opinion.
by far.
Really?
And
You-
then
the best? Do you think?
Yeah. Who?
I mean, he like
who compares,
introduced
yeah.
it. It's like
Okay.
anyway, but like
Go
the
ahead, yeah.
current Superman now, Henry Cavill,
Henry
is
Cavill,
like amazing. I freaking love him, and I also love him because he looks exactly like the comic.
Yeah, he looks like Superman, but that's
Yeah.
about all he does for me.
But like TV, I know is different, and TV
Right,
goes
yeah.
in their own direction. But like the guy they cast, who is a great actor, and he was from Teen Wolf. If you ever watched Teen Wolf, not the movie
Chris,
with
you watch?
Michael
I-
J. Fox, the actual TV show.
I haven't watched it this week, but I have a collection.
No, it's
I know
not. It's
nothing
not
about-
on. I know I'm a loser.
I remember when he got cast, a lot of people were saying like he actually is a good actor. So
He's
I'll
a
take
good
him at
actor,
their
but
word.
like I wasn't convinced that he would play a good Superman or Clark Kent. So
Yeah,
when I
really?
saw him on Supergirl, I was like, really? I mean, like I couldn't relate
So-
to it. But that's just me.
Yeah.
I don't know about other people. So
Right. I mean, because you guys, I still have yet to see the Justice League. But how did you feel about Grant Gustin's Flash and
Oh no,
that
we
guy's
didn't
Flash?
like. We didn't like. I hated it.
Are you
First-
talking about the movie
The
Justice League?
I'm talking not the whole movie. We won't get in the whole movie, but the whole thing was like, oh, who's a better Flash, Grant Gustin or the guy who they played in the movie?
Grant Gustin
Grant
by
Gustin
far.
by-
yeah,
easily.
By
and,
far.
I think a lot of people thought that too because of just
But,
how
ag-
it was
but again,
portrayed.
the guy who played him in the movie is also a great actor.
yeah,
But
yeah.
didn't portray Flash like I would
Right.
think he would.
Yeah, and if you see Justice League, I don't care how big
going
of a
to,
fan.
yeah.
Oh my God, it was
you
the worst
are,
movie ever.
It's just
Really?
a very poorly made movie. There's no way to get.
I
around
feel
it.
bad because I like
It's
DC
so upsetting.
a lot, and
Yeah, I
It's-
feel like DC. No, not to like poo-poo on DC right now because I do love it. But like, I feel like in the movie department, they don't do
Yeah.
very well.
In the cinematic
TV-wise, yes.
stuff, no
Yes.
doubt. I mean,
Yeah,
and
I've
it's Zack Snyder's baby. There's a lot of
I
people
know.
trying to
Right.
protect him, but
Yeah,
Right.
but
he
I don't.
really to me, he really screwed.
I
the
mean, I guess
whole
Wonder
movie
Woman was
universe.
good, but it wasn't
A lot of
like
people, yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, I didn't. I hated the look of Man of Steel. I hated the look of
Really?
Yeah.
the whole
Yeah.
the whole thing. I haven't enjoyed at all. It looks
Yeah.
dark. It looks dour. There's no fun. Superman's kind of a punk. It just I don't.
Literally, the only reason
I don't
why I
get-
watched it was Superman. I was like, oh, he comes back
Right,
from the
'cause
dead, like
Superman,
obviously, like in the
right.
comics, and I was super
Yeah.
excited.
Yeah.
But then I was like, this movie kind of sucks.
No, the only one I really enjoyed was Wonder Woman, which was just the first time you were actually allowed to have fun with some of
Right.
the DC
Yeah.
characters.
Right.
Well, if you want to go way back, the Dark Knight trilogy. I love.
Well, no,
that
but I'm talking
trilogy.
about the stuff now. If we're talking
Right,
about you know,
right,
as a
right.
whole, then
As
the
a whole.
Richard Donner movies with Christopher Reeve,
Yep.
I love.
Right,
you
right.
know,
If
like,
we're talking,
of
yeah,
course,
yeah.
Dark
In a
Knight.
whole-
It's,
right.
it's never going to get better than
But
that.
I have had, now that you say, I've had a friend tell me because he would watch all the Marvel Netflix shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I was like, dude, you got to check out the Arrowverse ones with DC. He watched them. He's like, oh my god, DC does an amazing job with the TV
Right,
Yeah,
in
shows.
so
And
much
I was like,
better.
yeah,
in TV,
yeah.
yes.
And the Marvel stuff, I just finished Jessica Jones, the second season
Meh.
this week, last week.
I just started
I
watching
swear,
Punisher
man.
again.
I couldn't.
The Punisher is. I
Punisher's
thought the
amazing.
Punisher
I'm
was
like
really good.
halfway
The
through
Marvel
now.
Netflix stuff, it is just boring. I
It's-
mean, it
Really?
is boring.
It's boring.
I like the Daredevil
Espe-
series.
I think
Daredevil's
Jessica-
good only because Punisher was in the second season. That's
Yeah.
how I feel.
Okay.
But like, there are like Marvel shows like Agents of Shield
Yeah.
that are really good.
Agents of Shield.
But
is
I
great.
think Marvel in general for TV is like 50-50. Whereas
Like hit or
DC,
miss,
I
you
feel
think?
like is like bam.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
like you have Gotham, what's on a whole different channel than the CW,
Yes.
and is currently in season 5,
Wow, it's season 5.
4
now.
or 5,
Jeez.
one of those, and it's
No, I
think
think
you're
it
right.
is 5.
and it's
yeah.
really good.
Yeah.
So it's well done. And then we have this new show, Krypton, which we will talk about actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's on a completely different channel on
Yeah,
Sci-Fi.
sci-fi. Yeah.
So it's weird how DC's kind of like spreading out, but it's not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And you can tell Marvel comes out with way more movies than
Oh
DC
yeah.
does.
I mean, their movies are
I
phenomenal.
mean, in the
Yeah.
movie department, you
Oh,
can't
yeah.
touch Marvel.
Right.
No,
Even
no,
if you're not
not
a
at all.
fan, the way that they've connected everything. I mean, this
Yeah.
is stuff everybody knows,
Yeah.
but they've just done an amazing job connecting the movies and
They
making it
do.
fun. Like I said, you should go to these movies trying to have some
Right,
fun. I don't know
right.
why DC thinks being depressed is like a great movie experience. Like,
Yeah.
go to see Superman and you want to slit your wrists when you're leaving the theater because it's just like, oh, like okay, like Superman's dead and he sucks and there's no happiness in the world and Batman's dour. It's just like at some point it's okay to have a
yeah.
little fun.
It is.
Right.
It is. And I like going a little off topic, but me as a comic book nerd, I want like Dark Horse and Image to like come up with
Yeah.
a movie and TV side of things too, because I think it's
Interesting.
I
You
don't
have all
know
these-
if it's so oversaturated right now with comic stuff if they could really compete.
no, I
you
know, but you have like DC, Marvel. You don't have
Uh-huh.
any like
Right, she's
Dark
saying
Horse,
like
Image,
have their
yeah.
own thing. Yeah,
or
yeah.
like have their own. I think that would be cool if someone like from Dark Horse was like, let's do our own thing.
yeah.
I mean, it would probably pop up on Netflix if they don't have conflicts with Marvel because Netflix
It really also
takes a
has to
chance
do
on all
with
that.
the budget stuff too, because Marvel
Yeah.
is obviously now owned by Disney, so they have a lot more money. That's why they keep
Right,
coming
right.
out with movies and
Right.
movies.
But I do have to
But,
say,
yeah.
like Image, I think I was telling Chris to you about this show on PlayStation.
Yeah.
Powers?
Called Powers.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's from Image.
Oh, that's Image. Oh, I didn't
so
even know
yeah,
that.
it's not like a Marvel DC thing. So
Right,
maybe
right.
they are kind of branching out. But
Yeah.
anyway, we're getting off topic.
I love
Yeah,
how
just
we just got
like a
so-
little
it was
wish
kind of
list.
cool.
That.
We
That
kind
was
of just
good.
went into a
That's good.
comic. I like that. It's my
I hope
geeky
you liked
side.
it.
I hear what
viewers.
you're saying.
We-
There's a lot of things that aren't being taken advantage of.
Yeah.
But like I said, even with Krypton, watching it last night, I was kind of thinking like, wow, this is like with all the Marvel shows I'm watching, all the DC shows. Now there's this one. It's starting to feel a little bit oversaturated. to
There's a
me.
lot. I mean,
Yeah.
especially with
with
the main.
DC and Marvel, you're saying? You
Just
want
with all the comic book
But it's
shows.
also like the
Oh,
main.
There's just so many.
It's the main like villains and
Right,
main,
right.
main
Yeah.
superheroes.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
not. You don't get like Alias,
No, exactly.
even though she had her own
and-
show. But it's like or Elektra. You know, like
Right.
it's like
Yeah, something different. Like we mentioned Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Like that's why I love that show because they took an idea that could just be references to the Marvel universe and really just made it into an entertaining, unexpected show.
Right.
And that show always impresses me.
oh, it's so good. I
Even
love
when
it.
it's not a great episode, it's doing something original, so I really enjoy it.
I
But,
agree.
what are we here to do?
I don't know.
I don't know, but now we're actually
got,
gonna dive into
Yeah, let's do what
Legends of
this
Tomorrow.
Legends
podcast.
of
There we
Tomorrow
go.
recap.
Oh goodness.
What an episode!
So much. I wrote
So
so many notes. There's so much happening.
We were group chatting the night of Legends,
Yeah,
and
go
I was
ahead.
like, guys, this episode is like one of the best I've seen.
So much.
I don't know if
stuff
you guys
happened.
agree with me on that one, but I loved it.
Probably one of the best because it definitely moved the plot a lot. Like so much.
plot heavy.
There's a lot
It was
going
definitely
on.
plot heavy.
And I also love Constantine. So whenever he's in an
Constantine came
episode,
back. That's at first why I was like, oh, that's why Sonic likes it.
Yeah.
And then
That's
I
what I
watched,
thought, too.
and then I watched it and I was like, okay, this
and
is
you're like,
pretty
come
good.
on. You're like, Matt Ryan does an amazing job as Constantine.
Yeah.
So
It
whenever
was-
he's in an episode, I'm
It
like,
was a
woo!
good episode. It was a good episode.
That's what I thought because you were texting how much you liked it, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
it must be a Constantine episode.
You guys
It was
knew
like-
me.
30 minutes of Constantine.
I
But
know, it
he's
wasn't
good.
enough.
I'm not going to
but,
complain. I mean,
yeah, and then, of course, on our Instagram page, I posted that Matt
Yes.
Ryan is officially a season regular on season 4
Season
of
4,
Legends.
yeah.
For
So
next- for next season.
That's pretty cool.
I'm
It's
super
pretty
excited
cool.
for that.
Yeah.
I love it.
I mean, what show could handle him better than Legends of Tomorrow?
Right.
I mean,
he's gonna get a new room now too, Chris. It's gonna be.
It's going to be
interesting.
amazing.
we'll see. He'll probably
I
be
don't
in a
know.
pocket dimension.
No,
room.
you know where he's going to live? In the library.
Yeah.
Isn't
He'll
his?
live in the-
Can he bring? Isn't he like one of his powers? He can just bring his house with him and like a little like.
Oh, maybe.
I think so.
I
Right?
Because he's a
Like-
warlock, so
Yeah,
I
he just
guess
like
Right.
steps through a portal to his like mansion or his like old house. So we'll see.
We'll see.
So
So the episode opens up with actually we see kind of Sarah's bedroom, but not really. It's like her
You know,
bed.
we talked about
Yeah.
it last week.
Yeah.
Where's Sarah's bed? We never see it. And then we get
Right.
like
Right.
20
And we
minutes
get-
in the
yeah.
bedroom. Yeah.
And
We're
she-
like, oh, all right,
Pillow,
here we go.
pillow talk with Ava. Yeah.
but she has Sarah has like a nightmare, right? It's like of
Yeah.
she's
really-
like in the
really
A
ship,
really dark one.
and then like
Yeah.
a girl comes over. She's like, "You think you could get away from me?" And I was like, "What is happening?"
Plus her head, her head starts spinning and
Yeah.
everything. Oh,
yeah,
I
it was
love
like
that.
exorcism.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's great.
and then she wakes
Jacob's
up
Ladder or
and-
something.
And she wakes
Ava's
up and
there.
she's back in the bedroom, and Ava's
Yeah.
like, "Oh,
And
yeah,
that's when-
let's talk about it." Like the
Yeah.
pillow talk you were talking about, Chris.
And then Sarah tells Ava about Constantine.
Oh
'Cause
my god, that was
she's
funny.
like, "Who's John?"
Well, first I think didn't she like drop the girlfriend line?
No,
Or-
it was Constantine, and then she got mad, and then she was like, "Oh, but you're my girlfriend." And
Right,
she's
right,
like,
right.
"Oh, okay."
It's all in the same.
She was like,
scene,
"Oh,
yeah.
okay, that just happened." Yeah, but she was like, "Oh yeah, we were, we were talking about how was it like she like randomly came up with?
I don't-
I hooked up with Constantine.
I
this
think
one
she
time.
said something.
No, she said
John or
you were
something.
saying John in your sleep. Like I'm
Oh,
not
that's
jealous,
what it
but you were
was,
screaming
yeah.
out John's name in your
right,
sleep. And she's
right,
like, oh,
right.
like
She's
he's
like,
a
who's
guy
that?
that I know, and I mean we did sleep together, but
But it was
Yeah.
that one time, and it like didn't mean anything. And he's
Yeah,
like
and she's
not.
like,
he's
yeah,
like a one night stand.
Yeah.
Kind
You're
of
my-
like she was kind of like saying
Yeah,
that.
and Ava was like mad, but then Sarah's like, "Oh, but you're my girlfriend." He's like, "Oh, I'm not mad anymore." I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
okay."
Oh, okay.
that
was cute though.
Yeah, it was nice. And
How
we
it
got
was,
to
like,
see Sarah's
so
room.
cute.
Neatly, placed that it was
Yeah.
Ava's the girlfriend now. So
and that set up a funny recurring joke throughout the episode too.
It did.
With John, yeah, John.
You know, Constantine always kind of referencing, like,
Right.
oh yeah, I have a really good connection with Sarah. I definitely
That
know what
was
I'm talking
great.
about.
But if you think about it, it's very true because he's the one who brought her back to life and like brought
Yeah.
her soul in and
Right.
like
I
everything.
don't think
so
he's
he does.
referencing
Yeah, I
that.
don't know if he was-
No, I know. But if you put two and two together, you're like, well, technically he
was.
is.
And then
yeah.
Ava was like, "We have a good connection too, you know."
Ava's she has really good reaction faces. She's
She does.
rivaling
She does.
Caitlyn on
Caitlyn
the
and-
Flash. She
Yeah.
had really got a lot of eye rolls for John.
I know. Poor
So
thing.
then, the tears in time, you see that they're still happening as the anachronisms are going
Anachronisms,
on.
yep.
They're
and-
trying to. What's her name? Zari said, "Aren't we calling them time cracks?" I guess is that an effort to change, what they're calling? Because anachronisms is actually kind of a cool.
Well, no, the anachronisms are causing
The
time
time.
tears or time cracks or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what I just put tears down because it looked
Tears.
like a tear.
Yeah, it
you
is.
and
a
your
tear.
handy
true.
dandy notes.
All my
there.
notes here. Yeah.
2 pages.
But Wally makes a good point. This could be worse than Flashpoint. You know, it's a point he makes to.
Yeah, and then he's like, "Oh,
I
is
like
that
how
the
he
thing
said
Barry
that.
did?"
Yeah.
Because, he's probably like, oh, anything can be not as worse as Flashpoint. But then
Right.
you're like, oh, wait,
Right,
actually,
yeah,
there could be.
it could.
Flashpoint.
This
Yeah.
could be really bad.
So then it's kind of just like a basic scene. It opens up. They look at anachronisms. They're like, "Okay, you two go here. You two go here. All right,
But
let's
meanwhile,
go."
like, Sarah has a really splitting headache and she doesn't know what's going on. So
Right.
she's, like, telling them what to do, but not in, like, full force.
Yeah, and then so like when they split up, Sarah goes to the headaches are happening. And she's getting like called to something, and then it's the
Well,
death
yeah,
totem.
she's, like, seeing
Right.
things. And,
Right.
and she gets, like you said, she gets
Yeah.
called to the death totem where she sees herself as Black Canary, which I
Right.
freaking
Yeah,
love.
I was like, "Oh my goodness!"
I was like, yes.
because
Love it.
you
Love
haven't
it.
seen that in what years since she's had that on.
I
now.
just gotta say, she was by far the best.
Black Canary?
I mean, Laurel's great, but like she couldn't.
See, I liked Laurel.
I love them both.
I like them
and
both,
then-
but like Sarah was like the introduction to Black
'Cause that
Canary.
was,
Yeah.
So.
and that was before the League of Assassins too, right?
Yeah.
When she was Black Canary. Jeez.
Yeah.
So long.
I remember
ago.
when Sarah showed up like that in Arrow, I was like, oh, this is a great twist. She's going to be
That's
this
right.
character and take
Yep.
it over.
And
Yeah.
she was in
it
that
didn't go that way.
hideout with
Yeah.
that girl. Oh my goodness.
Oh,
So
yeah.
long ago too. That
The
was
good
like,
old
what,
times
season
of
2?
Arrow.
Oh, I know.
But no, when I saw that, I was like, damn, girl. I love that. I love that costume.
Yeah,
I
it's
was
a nice reference.
Yeah.
Yeah,
was
but
a
also
nice
it's like her former life too, because it is a
Right.
death totem.
Yeah.
It's like a
It's like what she
a
used to
look
be.
at what
Right,
she used to
right.
be. Yeah.
And so she's getting called to the death totem by herself, basically. He's like, oh,
Yeah.
use it.
Like, you need to use this to fight off Mollis.
Right.
Like, you need this and blah, blah,
Mm-hmm.
blah. And she's like, okay.
Yeah, and then
And it kind of happens off camera too. You just see her
Yeah.
being tempted.
yeah, because it gets
Tempted,
it
and then it cuts.
And then
Yeah.
then I think what Ray's trying to use cold fusion to ignite the fire totem.
yeah,
And
then
poor Mick is in there with him, and he's like, I just
He doesn't
want a
care.
beer. Like,
I
can
know.
we just go get a beer?
And that's after Wally drags him out in the nude.
It's funny.
to get him out.
Oh my
because-
goodness, with his
That's
robot.
right.
Yeah.
he's like, he didn't
I really
have
like how
clothes
they like. I hate it when these characters have these superpowers and they never use them. But with Wally, he actually gets
yeah.
to use it.
on. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
One thing we
lot.
never see is Nate turn into Colossus. He never does his steel
Yeah,
thing
he
anymore.
never
He doesn't need
steals up
to.
though.
He doesn't need
No, he doesn't
to in the
need
ship.
to, but you think it would just happen every once in a
Yeah,
while.
just
I
know,
can't remember
like-
the last time he
Yeah,
he
just
steeled
steal.
up. Yeah.
Yeah, that is true. I haven't.
It's been a long
It's
time.
been a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then,
Maybe the
Amaya-
pirate episode. Now that I think about it, I think he steeled up in
Yes.
pirate.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe that's not
yes,
that
So
long.
not
wow,
that
yeah,
far.
that was
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Sorry, Dan. What
No,
were you
you're
saying?
fine. And then Amaya and Zari come back from their, whatever anachronism they were fighting, and they find Ray in his lab.
Einstein in the Ice Age.
Oh,
That- oh,
yes.
that's what-
I was trying to write them all
Yes.
down.
Einstein in the Ice Age.
Laika
it
the
was so
dog. There
weird.
was like a Russian dog, which
Oh,
Mick
that's-
refused
that's
to
right, the
participate
dog.
in.
And then
Rusky.
Oh, and that's why
One
Mick
more,
didn't
right?
want to go. He's like, I don't want to go
I don't
after a dog.
He's still trying to get over Axel.
I
so
know.
it's-
I know.
R.I.P.
See, wouldn't it be great to have like a little ghost Axel running around? That would be a great
I
character
feel
for
like
the show.
Mick just needs a pet.
Yeah.
Like he needs something else to preoccupy himself instead of drinking himself to sleep like every night.
I know.
another
yeah.
Axel. There was another anachronism that they went after, wasn't it? It was the dog, the Einstein, and
I
maybe
can't remember
another
the
one.
other one.
I don't remember the other one, but I knew it was like Ray in his room with.
Right. Well,
It was supposed to be, and the Sarah was supposed to go with someone else, and then she decided not to. And,
yeah, and then she went alone. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
something like that.
Well, no, she never made it to wherever she was supposed to go because she picked up the death totem.
She got
Okay,
tempted.
yes.
So I think
yeah,
that
yeah.
was her mission to go with by herself to something. Because
Yeah.
I think she was supposed to send Mick.
Right.
Oh, it was her
Yes.
and Mick.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Now that I'm
the
remembering it.
dog.
Good. Yeah.
And
Mona Lisa.
Mona Lisa?
Mona
yes,
Lisa.
yeah.
yes.
The
it
Mona
was
Lisa is Da Vinci
no,
in drag, is
And
what they
Amaya and that was Amaya and Zari. They went
Yeah,
to
yeah,
Mona
they teamed
Lisa
up,
fix
yeah.
that, and then because when they come back, they find Ray in the lab, and
Uh-huh.
he's like severely
Severely
wounded.
concussed
Yeah.
and dripping with blood.
And Ray's like not even in this
no.
episode till like the end after that. I
I
think.
know. Hey, okay, this is another off topic. Do you notice that Ray's getting gray? Like his hair is turning
His
gray.
hair is getting great.
Is
No,
it?
I had noticed.
Okay,
Is
I
it
noticed.
really?
Yeah, okay, you're gonna watch the episode
poor,
now.
Now we're gonna
poor
watch
Ray.
No, but it's like little stupid things that I recognize.
No,
and
that's
stuff. So like
another
he's
there's
starting
another
to get-
Superman right there, Brandon Roth.
I
Yes,
actually,
yeah.
I actually
not
really,
a very good one, but
I actually really liked him as Superman.
Really?
Kind of had
Yeah.
the boyish like innocence of Superman
The
that I
boy-
kind of
yeah.
remembered with Christopher Reeve, but
Yeah,
the
but I
movie I,
didn't-
didn't like, but I liked him in it.
Yeah.
It was so funny when they brought Clark Kent into Supergirl because I'm pretty sure Ray
Yeah, he says-
does some sort of reference like, oh,
I think he's does he
I
is he
wouldn't
the
wanna
I
one
be
think
that
he makes
Superman
fun of
or-
himself.
Yeah,
as
yeah.
like
Yeah.
Yeah.
because that was funny.
Yeah.
that's like Victor
forgot about
Garber
that
when
one.
he's like, whoever built the Titanic should be shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like,
I love how the writers just slip
I
that
know,
in to
yeah.
make it funny.
oh, they're so good. It's the best way to start the week with Legends. I wish we had 2 Legends episode a week because I would love to begin and end with it because it's just so much fun.
yeah.
Well, you end
that's-
with Arrow usually. You love Arrow.
I was looking forward to Arrow this
Yeah.
week because
Yeah.
of Nissa, but
Yeah,
And-
Nissa's
I guess it's
coming
next week,
back,
yeah.
League of Assassins.
Yeah.
but
Anyway, yeah, and if you go and watch now, you're gonna notice it. I'm sorry, guys, if I spoil that for you, but
Well,
yeah,
now
he's got gray
Ray's
hair.
getting older. That's all we know.
He's getting old,
It's
or
the
he's
age-
just not coloring his hair.
It's the age of HD television.
Exactly.
1080p,
I
you
know.
can see the gray hairs.
But anyway, so he's knocked unconscious and
Uh-huh.
trying to. They take him to the med bay.
Yeah. So he's down. He's
So he's
gone
down.
for the rest
He's
of the
out.
episode.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's out for the rest of the episode.
And
Save,
so that's
save that
when
budget. We don't
They're
need
trying
that.
to figure out like who or if someone came aboard the ship
Right,
or like
right.
something happened, like Mollis is here, like they don't know what's going on.
And Gideon tells him like, oh, actually my sensors have been disabled. I can't tell
Yeah,
you
no
what's
one's
going on.
used the
Yeah.
time ship or
And
anything
who has
like
the
that.
power to do that? But
Right.
The
Right.
captain.
The
Right.
captain.
Captain, my captain.
And then doesn't it
Yeah.
cut to you see Sarah and she's like taken over by Mollis?
And she's like a
Yes.
witch.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah,
and
And we
then
she's
keep
like-
getting John Noble. John Noble does the voice for
voice,
Mollis.
yeah.
If you know
Yes.
Fringe,
Yeah, yeah.
he's Walter and everything. I
Yeah.
really hope he gets to show up as like a physical person in the show.
Yeah, you were saying
because
that last time because I think
He's a-
that would be cool. He's a great
He's
great
a great actor. I mean, the guy's been in like
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings and stuff. He's not like a pushover.
Yeah.
And,
and he's evil very
yeah,
very well.
and he's very entertaining. I mean,
Yeah.
I've watched a ton of things just because he was in it. So I hope we get a physical version of him.
We might if he ever.
Yeah.
we don't. Yeah,
No,
we
maybe-
still
Not that
don't
I'm
know what-
complaining about watching Sarah and with the wind machine and
With the wind
flying
machine
around
and flying
everything.
around. Her makeup, by the way, was great.
Yeah, that
Sarah-
was.
Her
Sarah
witch makeup,
Sarah always looks amazing.
phenomenal.
Black canary, zombie canary, whatever
Yeah.
she
Right,
is.
right.
Was just
I
super
actually, because I stalk all my celebrities on Instagram. I was actually seeing the process it took because she posted something about how
great. I
like
saw that.
how long it takes to put it in.
Oh,
It was
wow.
like 4 hours of makeup
Jeez.
just for like. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I looked at my Instagram this week. I
So
didn't see
good
that.
job.
Oh, did
Chris,
you? Wow.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
nice.
right. That's
And
right.
she teased a week ago like that it was like a witch.
Yeah.
Like she
yeah.
posted a face and like the black eyes and everything, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, something's about to happen.
Oh.
So I was like, really cool. It's kind of like a spoiler if you follow them on Instagram, but at the same time, you're like, you
Right.
don't know when it's
No,
gonna happen.
yeah.
I mean, we were saying
Yeah.
Mollis was going to end up taking over.
Oh,
at
yeah,
some
for
point,
sure,
you
for
know?
Yeah, you know that's going to happen, especially because
right.
Constantine warned about it
Right.
episodes
Right.
ago. And then,
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she turns into this like witchy badass, and she ends up like really hurting.
Yeah, so I just put down here, Sarah beats up everyone. So
nice.
While her consciousness is trapped in the
right, so
Mollis
she's
zone.
in the
Yeah,
Mollis
Totem
realm,
zone.
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
Mollis is really just beating up everyone, I guess you could
And
say.
she's trapped with Nora in this other.
Yeah, Nora
which is
you
weird.
see a little later, but yeah,
Yeah.
she's there and she's like, "Oh, come to this side" and all that. But basically, so when Sarah's beating up everyone, they're like Sarah is about to like stab one of them. I forget who it was now. But then Wally comes in and saves all of them.
She's about to kill them all.
No, Nate.
Was it Nate where she
Yeah.
like brought up the
God,
knife?
if
yeah,
only
yeah.
Nate had this like power that could
Yeah,
protect
it's where
him
you
from
can
some
steal
kind
up,
of
yeah.
stab or
Yeah,
something.
but I feel like I don't know. But then, I think she also almost killed Wally. But then
Well, that's a little bit later because
Yeah,
Wally
yeah.
comes
Right,
in to
'cause
save
in
the
this
day.
one-
right,
there's a
right. But
lot
I
of-
think Nate is the first one that she tried to.
Right.
Right,
Because there's
right.
a lot of
Yeah.
scenes where Mollis Sarah just like beats up people in this episode. But
She
this
beats
one
up everybody.
specifically, Wally comes in, tries to save them, and brings them to the med bay.
Yeah, they all have to regroup in the med
Yeah.
bay, and
Yeah.
then in the med bay, and then they say we're going to activate the Nostromo sequence, which I thought was a really funny reference to Alien,
Alien,
which
yep,
basically just
yep.
means the lights have to go down, the alert,
Yeah,
the alert,
everything has to be on.
sirens
on,
have to be
right,
on, and it
lockdown.
turns it all into like some kind of alien environment.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But like I was saying, I like that the superheroes get to use their powers, except
Yeah.
for Nate, because Wally's like, okay, like you guys
Yeah.
stay here, I'll go take care of this.
Right.
And he goes to confront Sarah. I have no idea how Sarah got the drop
But
on Wally.
I also do love the fact that you see people from their past as the death totem comes up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So like
well,
every single person from like in the ship has someone like from their
yeah,
past
and
coming
Mollis
up.
was like bringing them back.
I
and, like,
love
control
that.
them.
I know.
Jesse. I thought that was weird because I was thinking, is Jesse dead? Like I thought maybe the person had to be
No,
dead.
I don't think
they have to be
It's
dead.
just
I
like
think
a
they just have to
scary
be-
image.
Yeah.
something in their brain
Mo-
that's
yeah,
like
Mo-
they're scared of.
Yeah.
Or,
Right,
That's
Mollis
what
was
it
just
seemed to be.
messing.
Yeah.
Mollis was just messing with their like fears and stuff like that. I feel like that was what
And
it
I
was.
think I think the Wally and Jesse one was the most convincing.
That one, yeah,
That one was like, oh,
I had-
shit, like-
I was feeling so bad for
I
Wally. I was like,
was.
oh my god, man, and
I don't know. Of all the things that he could have seen, I Jesse wasn't one that I think
Yeah,
would
but
really
you knew
freak
it.
him out.
You
The
knew it
girl
was going to
that-
happen. The girl that broke your heart.
Over a
Yeah,
cube.
I guess it
Yeah,
just
over a freaking
Over a
cube.
cube.
he said it to her, but I was kind of thinking the same thing before he said it. He's basically over her. He's like,
Yeah,
yeah.
well, that
I'm
was
over
kind
it.
of a good moving on moment
It
for
was.
Wally.
Right, he's
actually.
like levitating in China like 4 episodes ago because
Yeah.
he's so zen about the whole
He
thing.
is.
So
Right.
But I think it was a good like wrap up to that whole relationship.
yeah, that's true.
And
And
that
I
was
like
good.
any time that Jesse gets to kind of pop in. I mean,
I like her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like to have these people
Yeah.
show up.
Yeah.
They're all in the same universe, anyways. But
Quickly, did
That's
you guys like when Ava calls in like from the Time Bureau and Sarah's Mollis
and
Sarah,
completely-
and
she's
she
like,
like
"Hi,
walks
what's
through.
going on?
Yeah.
Hello." Like,
it's like, oh, you don't look so good. I mean, which is fine.
Which
You
is
look
yeah,
okay.
you're good, but like. what
yeah,
do
that
you-
was funny. She like walks right through her. Sarah's
Yeah.
just like, "Peace out."
And then and then Ava goes to the med bay where everyone is, and she's standing like in Mick is next
Oh,
to
Mick is like on top of
on
her.
top of
and
it,
she's
and-
like, "Can you move?"
Can you move, Mr.
That's
Rory?
funny.
So
yeah.
yeah, and that's when Wally phases the door open to go after Mollis. And
That's what I
So
mean.
right
Wally's powers are just.
That's because when
Yeah,
that
control.
they're fully grown
when
now.
that closed, I was like, oh, Wally can just phase through. Probably.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and then
Yeah.
he confronts Sarah, who's using the Jesse image to bother him. But the way she takes him down is she turns around, grabs a gun, turns back around, aims it at him, and the whole time Wally, I
Zaps
guess, is
him.
just watching this in super slow motion because he's a speedster. It
Right.
took 5 seconds. I was like, how the hell did that happen?
It's the Speed Force.
Yeah.
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 I don't know. I feel like he was.
Well, it's
it
the-
was a reaction. Like he wasn't reacting fast enough in time.
I
He
mean,
That
probably
it just zapped him.
Well, it's that anti-speedster weapon that they used on like one of the.
I know. I mean,
speedster
I'm
villains or
being
whatever.
No.
I'm being picky, but I just I didn't
It's good
get
to be
why it took
picky,
so
though.
long. It seemed like of all the things that.
Are you kidding me? I analyze like every single detail
Well, that's what
about
I was
every
thinking.
episode.
It's just like this should have.
He was going right
Wally should have
after
just
her, too,
taken her
yeah.
out in no time. Like,
Yeah.
why even stop and talk to her? Just go run up and knock her out.
It's the CW.
I know.
That's what they do.
I'm not gonna play. I'm not gonna make fun of Legends.
But like at the same time, you have 2 different things going on. Actually, 3. You have the whole where Sarah is trapped with Nora in that
Yeah.
totem.
yeah.
And then you have whatever's going on in the Wave Rider. And then the other part is you have Ava going and Gary visiting Constantine.
Yeah, because
So you have
what-
3 different things going on
yeah,
in this episode.
Because I think Nate brings it up and he's like, "Oh, we got to call Constantine," and then Ava's
Yeah.
like, "Oh God."
Like, why do we have to call him? And, blah,
And
blah,
Gary
blah.
and Gary and Constantine
Oh
are
my
kind of on
god,
the same.
freaking love that
Oh, I
scene.
love
They're on the
like,
same level, you know, because Gary's a level 9 warlock.
Warlock,
That's
and
her
he's
now. Which is a reference to
Dungeons
and
and
Dragons.
Dragons.
Because they finished the episode with that. I don't know D&D
Yeah.
very well, but
I don't know either, but I know.
It's like
he was-
level 9 is like pretty up there.
Yeah,
They're-
it's
Oh, is it
they,
good?
They
Yeah.
play it, and yeah.
Okay.
Well, you have yeah.
Nothing.
Should I just yell out my geekiness right now because
Go.
when I was
Dungeons and Dragons?
Do you
yeah.
play? Because I've been wanting to play.
I don't play
honestly.
now, but I used to when I was like
Okay.
in middle school, high school.
Yeah.
So like whenever he was saying all those things, I was like, "Oh, guilty." I know that.
Oh, really? You knew what he was
guilty.
talking
Yeah.
about?
Oh,
Oh, really?
absolutely.
Yeah, me and my roommates in college actually wanted to start playing that.
It's
We never
pretty
got
fun.
around to it, but
if
yeah.
you have a good group, it's fun.
Yeah.
But like,
You can have like games that go on for like hours.
oh
right?
yeah. Well, if you
I think even longer, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean,
Days.
if you go back to if you watch Stranger Things, that's the
Right, yeah,
first
yeah,
thing
yeah,
that they do.
yeah. Right.
So it's pretty cool. I mean, it's fun, but it gets tiresome.
I
And
think we need to join a D&D.
I think we
league,
should
guys.
start our own, guys. We should
I'd be
start it.
lost. I'm a Monopoly guy myself.
Yeah.
Oh, I love Monopoly.
But
right,
no,
off
but
topic.
Ava goes with Gary, and they
Yeah.
go to wherever Constantine
Yeah.
is, and they walk in on him trying to grab a freaking rooster chicken,
Mm-hmm.
which was hilarious because I was like, oh, okay, Constantine just does everything, I guess. Like,
Yeah, some kind of dark magic to get this girl's son married.
Yeah.
yeah,
I was
yeah.
like,
and
what?
it's like, oh, I think you need to like, I don't even know what the chicken was for. It was just like,
Well, he says
roaming
it too.
around.
He's like, I need to do the paid gigs. You know, this is.
Yeah, yeah.
This I
Gotta
need
pay the
work
rent.
wherever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right,
Exactly.
right. And it's so that was a funny scene when it just opens up to him running around
Yeah.
with a chicken.
And this actually, when they visit him, this is a huge thing that Constantine reveals. Is that he explains the history, kind of the tribes and how each tribe
Yes.
got a totem, right?
Yes.
And
this is
five
huge.
five
Which is
of the
huge.
tribes sided with take down Mollis, and then that one tribe
One
sided
went their own way.
with Mollis with
Yep.
the death totem.
Right.
And that's basically how it was,
Right.
and then it started this whole thing.
Right.
And,
So
yeah.
that death totem is linked with Mollis in
Correct.
a way that
Right.
And that's why
the other
Sarah's
ones aren't.
possessed with.
Right.
Yeah,
So I mean,
makes
basically, what
sense
this
now.
is saying is that to defeat Mollis, you need to get all 5 of the totems. You don't need the death totem, but and that's how you'll take Mollis out.
Right.
That was like a huge thing that they quickly put in there.
But I also was thinking about it, and I was like, "Whoa, this is why he's going to be a regular in season 4
Yeah.
because he knows all of this
all
stuff
of like
already."
that history, like
Yeah.
sci-fi, all that stuff.
Yeah, it's it's a really different angle for the show because everything else is really well explored with metahumans and everything and all the other shows. But Constantine deals with stuff that, it sounds like he's pulling it out of his ass half
Right.
the time. But it's something else. It's something completely different, you
Yeah.
know, and just think, like, I keep thinking about this. But, like, if we are dealing with this stuff in the next season, that I really feel like Dr. Fate is coming.
Dr.
You're
Fate.
just waiting for it, Chris.
I
I
would
really
love
like
Dr.
Dr.
Fate.
Fate. I think he's a really cool,
He's
kind of
a
like
very
a
cool
Doctor
character.
Strange
He's
type
definitely
character.
Yeah.
that cool character.
But
His powers
he
are
just
cool,
brings
too.
with him this like weird world, maybe even Zatanna as well.
Wow.
Like it would be really cool to have.
Which was an arrow for a hot second.
Yeah.
Wait,
yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Quick. as
Oh
hell,
wait, yeah,
Very quick,
I
very
remember
quick.
Zatanna. Yeah,
That got my
Yeah.
hopes up along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. Didn't pan through. But
I keep on. You keep
I know.
saying Dr. Fate. I want Dr. Fate to be
it
in the
might
show
happen.
now.
You never
Dr.
know.
Fate
I love.
so
I mean,
Really
his
never know.
powers are so like. We won't get into it.
And
but yeah.
his like helmet holds you hostage, and
Yeah.
like, you're doing a good thing, but you're actually kind of
Right.
like,
Yeah.
possessed
and
by
then
him
the
and
helmet
stuff.
can like take him over sometimes.
Oh,
and-
it's great
It's
stuff.
a pretty
but
cool
Yeah.
thing.
That's
Yeah.
that's a preview for a year
Preview.
from now.
for a year. Imagine
In a few years from now, if it actually
Right.
happens.
Remember that I said it here.
We said it on here first.
But thanks to sex, Constantine
Sex.
has a link with Sarah. At least
Oh,
that's
yes,
that's what he
that,
tells
Yeah,
us.
that's what
that,
it says.
that quote unquote link. Of course,
Right.
I was talking, besides the whole sex part, I was talking about how he like resurrected her.
No,
and
you're
brought her
right.
soul back.
Right.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
he knows.
No.
I think he can read that Ava's bothered by it,
Oh,
so
Right.
he starts
He
absolutely.
wanted
playing
to
it on
push
really
her
Absolutely.
buttons
Yeah.
and stuff. So yeah, he tries to like go into the Mollis realm, and then it will.
Well, first, before that, we have to go backwards and comment on Gary's socks, where it was a Bebo.
Oh, Bebo socks.
And
Bebo socks.
oh my god, that was he just pulled up his right pant leg, and I
Yeah.
was just like, Bebo.
I mean, who wouldn't buy what fan of the show wouldn't buy those socks if they
you
were
know what? I'm
available?
sure there's people
Oh,
out there
there's
now.
I would buy them in a heartbeat.
Oh, there's
Yeah.
definitely you could definitely buy them somewhere now.
Oh,
honestly.
it's probably
You
on
think so?
Amazon.
I think so. Yeah,
Absolutely.
People make stuff.
But that's
all the
why
time.
Legends is good, man. Like the last episode, they were making fun of Sarah when she like gives everybody their missions. She's like, "Okay, everybody, like here's my pizzazz
Here we
moment."
go. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And like, now they're talking about Bebo, which Bebo. I hope the show ends with like Bebo as an overlord or something. But
Yeah, because
Yeah, it's pretty
Constantine's
fun.
like, if you could hear what this bear wants to say or something
yeah,
like
that's
that.
right.
Like,
Yeah,
Oh
he
yeah,
gave him.
because he brought it up before, like, oh, I knew him before. He
Yeah,
was like,
like,
blah
he
blah
was
blah,
like,
whatever.
"Jeez."
Yeah.
It's pretty
Oh,
funny.
okay. But yeah, they like they all try to strategize and go into the other dimension where
Yeah, and
Mollis is,
access denied.
access very denied.
Yeah, yeah.
Kind of. What did they? It like kicked them out and like threw them across the
Uh-huh.
room.
yeah, and then that immediately like cut to another scene. I think it's with because now we're going through the different people on the ship, seeing people. And this one I was a little confused about. Zari goes to try to disable the ship from being
Right,
locked, and she
right.
sees.
Her brother,
Is that her brother?
Yes.
Because I
Yeah.
always thought.
but her brother as younger.
Okay.
Not as he currently is, which is like a couple years younger than her,
Okay.
or older than her.
Because
I
I
think.
always, I mean, Chris mentioned this last week that we know really nothing about her brother.
Yeah.
But like,
I think her older is
I
her
forgot
older
about
brother.
is it her older or younger? Like, I don't.
I think it's older, but I don't. It's not by much. I think it's like
Okay.
a couple years
Yeah,
because they
'cause-
grew up together, obviously,
Yeah.
and then separated.
I really wanted her to just realize it was. I mean, she knows it's
She
like
knew.
not the real
Yeah.
one, but she should have just kicked him across the room because, like, that's actually Sarah. Like, just like
Yeah.
Right.
But
bat
if you
this
think
guy.
about it, it's like someone from your not past, but like someone that you care really about is like right in front of you. You're not gonna be like,
But that's what I
"Hi-ya!"
mean. This is the one opportunity you have to like take that person you care about and just kick them across the room.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like if my mom showed up or something, I'd be like, oh,
Be like,
because
"Get
it's not my
out."
mom,
right.
true.
Because it's not. Yeah.
But no, it kind of explained like not. I see why you would get confused about it, but at the same time, it was her brother when he was young,
Right.
and she would like read him stories. So I think that she is older than him, because she would read to him.
Yeah,
so
I wasn't
I-
joking.
idea.
We taled about it last week.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
forget a lot of her story. I got to be honest.
Yeah. Well,
they don't
It's been a
talk
long time
about
since.
they talk
yeah.
about
It's very
the brother
hush
the
hush
first.
for
Yeah.
her. Yeah.
We'll get to it. By the end of the season, we'll have a better idea.
Yeah, we'll figure her out at the very end.
So then, obviously they start to fight.
But
Sarah
she fixes
and Zara.
she fixes
Zari.
the afterwards. She like kicks it or something.
Right. She destroys something with the computer that
Yeah.
reboots it or
Oh,
something.
okay, all right.
Right. Oh, but I like the fact where she uses her totem to like shove Sarah into
Yes.
the other.
Yeah.
And,
That
and
was
I
great.
thought that was, I wrote that down too. I thought it was an important thing because we see the totems are actually pretty effective against each other, you know.
Which is scary if you think about it.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you get Elvis with his guitar fighting against all. You could have some real battles
Some
going
real
on.
damage
Right.
happening
And
on the ship.
while this is going on with Sarah and Zari, Zari's trying to say, "Sarah, I know you're in there, whatever," and then you can see,
And
then
it's
you cuts to,
echoing.
Then it cuts to that
Sarah,
other side of the world. Yeah.
and that's when you see Nora is
Uh-huh.
like, "Hey,
Which is technically
can't fight it.
not Nora. I feel like that is Mollis
think it-
because
It felt like it was.
I feel
last time we saw Nora, she got kind of possessed. I feel like she
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
shoved into the.
I think so,
I want to keep
too.
it, like Phantom Zone, whatever it is, Totem Zone. So it's like I feel like it's like her decent part that's trapped there, but
Yeah.
she
Right.
seems to
But
be
she's like,
a willing
okay,
participant.
right,
Right.
that's what
Right.
yeah."
that's because she's so evil that there's no goodness
I know.
left for her.
I keep hoping for a redemption because I like Nora
I don't
a lot,
know.
but
Hey,
it doesn't seem like
it
it's
might
gonna
be
happen.
Ray, aka husband,
I know.
to the rescue.
That's so funny.
I know.
Yeah, so she's basically in there telling Sarah like, "Oh, you can't fight this,"
Right.
like, whatever, and
And she's like going in and out too. Like that whole scene
right is cut back and forth
with Zari and her. She like comes to for like a hot second and then
Oh
goes
yeah,
back.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Nora makes a good point. I mean, Sarah was pretty
Bad.
ruthless, bad person.
She really
and
was. Right,
was
oh,
killing
yeah.
a lot of
Oh,
people
yeah.
and killed this guy's
Yeah,
this
and it's
little
all
kid's dad
it's
in
sad
front
to
of him
say,
and all
but
that.
it's all Oliver Queen's fault.
Yeah. But that's the nice thing about Sarah that always impresses me about that character is she knows how bad she is and she just moves on from it and actually gets over it.
Right.
And I like that a lot. You know, you don't just sit on it for like a season. She's like, no, I know how bad I was, but that's not me anymore. Like I'm a whole different person. And
That's true.
she's trapped, but she eventually believes that and is able to.
And I
kinda
do
break
have
out of her prison.
a weird, you know how I zone in on each
Yes.
episode. I have a weird thing going way back to the very first episode of Arrow.
Oh jeez.
Whoa.
Very first episode where you see young Oliver Queen getting in the gambit with Sarah.
Yeah.
But it's not. They cast her after the second
Yes, they did.
episode.
Yeah.
So
No,
it was
that's
a different.
true.
It was
It's
a different Sarah.
Yeah, they changed that
Yeah.
in the second or third season. It's different actors.
But it was so funny because all of my friends did not notice that, and I was like, "How could you not notice?
Oh,
the other
yeah.
girl was a brunette, and this one's a blonde."
Yeah,
And
Sarah
I was
in the
just like-
first episode.
I haven't
is totally
seen it in
different.
so long.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Go,
yet.
They
if you
do
go back
that-
to the pilot,
They do that in because now I'm noticing that with Supergirl. They do that with
Yep.
the younger version of Supergirl.
Uh-huh.
Is different now
And
than it was in the first season.
Her mom
and
as
her
well.
mom is different
Yeah.
too.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah,
Her
yeah.
mom was.
I was
yeah.
upset
Oh.
they changed that actress. Her mom was a good
Yeah,
actress.
I
the
was- I
original
thought
one.
it
Even
was
though
good
Erica
actress, too.
Durance used to be Lois Lane in
Yes,
Smallville,
right, yes,
so
yeah.
Right.
it was like,
Yeah.
I see the reference.
I was
But anyway,
hoping, yeah.
it was those like little things that I you
Yeah.
know capture on.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, if our Sarah currently never joined Arrow, this would have never like
That's true.
it
Yeah,
would have
but-
been the other girl, like, but the
But
other girl
she
sucked.
willingly joined the League of Assassins, though, and then she went through that
No,
whole
no,
thing.
she didn't join it. She had to because she was like, she explained
I
it in
don't even
Arrow
remember.
when she explained it in season 3, no 2, where she was like taken in by them because she was so, you know,
That's
they
what I
like
kinda
rescued
remember.
her from the
and
island
she,
and like
she fell in love with Nissa too, right? There was
Yeah,
that
yeah,
whole
yeah.
angle
There was
of
a
it.
whole angle
Oh,
of that.
okay, yeah.
so she
Understandable.
didn't like willingly was like, all right,
Right.
League of Assassins. Like they picked her up and like made her kind of like a family, a bad family, but.
Right.
But yeah, but she's got so many like hidden closets. I feel like in her life that
Yeah, I always was thinking that even with Legends, I was like, Sarah's kind of a bad person. Like if you think about everything that
Everything
happened in the
she used to
past
do,
and
yeah.
stuff,
She is, but it's like let's get biblical. It's like Saul to Paul. Like she like was this bad person, but
Saul to
she's
Paul, wow.
she's like someone who learned her lesson, and she's so at peace with it that it almost makes her stronger. And that's what I like about the character a lot, Sarah. Like she should be so tortured, but she's not because she realizes
she hides it very well.
she hides it, but she also understands that she can do a lot better things. It
Yeah.
almost as like a redemption, like an atonement for it. So
Like her fourth chance in life.
Yeah, exactly. They just throw in the Lazarus pit again if anything goes wrong. But,
Right, exactly. The love the Lazarus pit.
but to get back to the show, like
Yeah.
Nate grabs the Earth Totem because under recommendation, and he sees his grandfather, who
Right.
we haven't
No,
seen.
Who I love.
That was
That's
one of the
right.
coolest episodes. I actually really liked
With,
because immediately I saw him
Justice
and I was
League
like,
of America, yeah.
yeah, that stuff. Like I love that. It took me back to some of there's a space time episode or the episode with Ray and Eobard in space.
Yeah,
Like I
yeah.
loved like the kind of
I know.
throwback episodes.
You and your Eobard.
Oh, I love Eobard. I love Eobard so much.
Well, that happens. The the Nate thing gets the Earth Totem because Gary tells the Dungeons and Dragons story.
Yes,
basically.
while that's happening,
Yeah.
they're looking for the Earth
Yeah.
Totem,
And
which
he's-
is amazing because, like I said before, I was like, I know exactly what Gary's
Right.
talking
I know.
about. It's like
He
this, that.
to connect it. Yeah, because Gary's with Constantine and Ava.
Yeah.
And
Ava's just like, what the hell is
Yeah.
going on?
And
And
basically he was
Constantine is
saying-
like, and the point
Right,
is,
Right.
No, but good for Constantine because he
Yeah.
stuck up for Gary, and he's like,
Yeah.
let the guy finish
Let
his
the-
story.
Yeah.
Like,
he was like so interested. He was like, I want to hear more about this Dungeons and Dragons.
yeah, which comes up
And,
later on. But
right. But basically, Gary was saying you need a totem bearer to defeat another totem bearer, and obviously Legends being hilarious here. And Gary's like, as long as they don't split up, it'll be fine. And then
And then
hear
you
them,
see them
all right, let's
Exactly.
split up. And,
exactly, yeah.
every episode is something like that. What was it the last time? Like Ava was saying something and then it happened.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
I
Legends.
don't remember, but
Yeah.
they use that comedic cut a lot.
Yeah, I like that a
We're gonna
lot.
talk about Black Lightning, but there's a whole part of that too. And he's like, if you suit up, you're gonna die. By the way, here's your suit.
Yeah,
And I was like,
yeah.
well, that's a weird time to give her that. But yeah, on Legends, like you were saying, it has the kind of Dungeons and Dragons
Right. The little
Right,
references
speech,
there.
which inspires Constantine. I mean, I don't know how the speech inspired him so much because it kind of made sense. Like, yeah, if you're looking for the totems or
Right.
the people with the totems, wouldn't
Yeah.
you
Yeah, and then he
look
says,
for the totems?
Right,
yeah,
right.
he's like, oh, to find Sarah,
he's
we'll
like,
look for
okay.
the Death Totem. I was like,
Yeah, to quote
yeah.
Ray, what's he say?
They're like doing like a locator spell.
Right,
That's
right.
what they were doing.
But what does Ray say about? He's like, Constantine's tie is a little too loose for me.
Yeah,
I like that
that's
line.
it,
Yeah,
With his
But,
trench coat.
yeah, but they're able to find the Wave Rider. I'm glad I remembered that. I always want to call
The
it
Wave
something
Rider,
else.
yes.
The
The
Time
Wave
Wave.
Rider, yeah.
They finally make the way to the Wave Rider. Really, when Nate's about to
Get
punch his
pummeled.
ticket. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's in pretty bad
Perfect
way.
timing.
And
That's
that's when
right.
that little time door, that portal, that's so convenient.
Yeah,
It is.
they
It
just
really
come through.
is.
It's like,
They're
oh,
like,
okay.
bing.
Oh
We're
yeah,
on this
yeah.
now.
Yeah.
But that's when they show up to basically save Nate.
Save
and
the day.
You know, we got something that seems so obvious to me that I'm almost ashamed I never thought of it. But Mick getting the fire totem.
Yeah.
yeah, that was-
yeah.
Because earlier
Yeah.
Sarah destroys his gun. That actually never occurred to me. I don't know why it didn't occur to me.
Right.
Well,
But
because
if
you're so preoccupied with everyone else that Mick's always in the corner, like drinking
Yeah.
beer. So you never
I
like.
know, I
And
should
I
have
was
connected
meaning-
Mick with fire totem.
Yeah,
It's
like,
an easy connection. But I
It
never
is a
thought
very
of it.
easy connection.
I was meaning to bring this up actually. The past few episodes, Mick doesn't really like
Do anything.
do a lot.
Yeah,
and then
he-
this episode they finally,
yeah.
obviously.
he just
but-
makes
He's
fun
in
of
his
everybody.
corner writing his
yeah,
novel.
His novel. He's watching football
Football-
games.
Yep,
and,
he's watching
yeah.
European
The-
football.
So Constantine goes through the portal, and then he tries to contain Mollis, and he's like, all
Yeah,
that,
he's on top of it.
all that.
Yeah.
Holy
and then-
water. There's a
And
lot of
then
things
Ava
going
was,
on.
Ava was like,
Hey,
straight in the
Supernatural, shout out there.
Yes,
Holy
yeah,
water and
Super-
everything.
So, but then
I'm lost on it.
I
D&D
mean-
and Supernatural.
Come on.
you watched the Constantine show, right?
Yeah, when
So-
it was on NBC.
So, I mean,
It's just one season,
Yeah,
right?
it only lasted a season.
okay, because maybe you can explain this, because
Sure.
he was trying to contain Mollis, and then Mollis obviously turned into that like little girl that apparently Constantine brought to hell,
Yes.
and like
Astra.
I have no idea.
Oh, is that a reference to the show?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize.
It was.
Oh,
and I
okay.
had no
So
idea.
if you know,
what happened.
if you know Constantine's story, it was this girl. I think it was not his sister, but like someone close to him that
Yeah.
he, grew up with and like cared for, and then
Oh.
he, became what he is in exorcism, and by
Yeah.
accident made one of the devils or demons into her, and it killed her
and brought her to
I
hell.
had no
and
idea.
brought her to
right?
hell, like dragged
Oh my
her
God.
like soul to hell.
Yeah.
So like ever since that, he doesn't feel
Oh
like
my
he's always
goodness.
like, I have to save people.
Yeah.
Oh, I had no
Yeah.
idea.
Because
So
that
that's his whole
happens-
story.
And then Mollis uses that girl's voice and basically says like, "Oh, you can save me if you get rid of Sarah."
Right.
And then that's when Constantine goes crazy. He's like, "No one escapes hell," and I was like, "Jesus."
I liked that because I had no idea about that history.
Yeah.
I just thought it was some weird backstory they were using, and I was like, yeah, that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
one
I
gets
knew
out
it
No,
of
was
this.
something,
that's
yeah.
his story, and that's why he's an exorcism expert, because
Yeah.
he knows how to drag souls to hell and like everything
Wow.
and stuff.
You're pretty useful to have around.
I'm good for something,
I was
guys.
just like, I got to call you after the episodes and just try to get a little.
I
information.
knew you watched it too. I was like, I
Yeah.
gotta ask her about this because
But it was like it was sad that it got canceled because it was a time when none of this was like relevant.
Yeah,
and
it was way
wasn't
before-
happening. So yeah, it was like
It was way before.
3 years ago.
Yeah.
But it's on like CW Seed if you watch CW Seed.
Yeah.
But like I got excited because they're actually revamping it and bringing it back because his character became so popular.
Yeah.
That they're now rebooting and making his show come back.
Wow. Okay.
I don't know what channel it'll be on, but I know that it could be like a streaming thing, like on Hulu. But
So this Constantine will have
yes, his own show again.
his own show
So
again
he's gonna
and
have
be
his-
on Legends
yeah,
of Tomorrow.
Yes,
and
yes.
Wow, I had no idea.
Wow.
Okay.
I don't know when the release is. I just heard rumors
Right,
because
right.
me and my stalking.
Yeah. I'm sure you'll tell
But
us.
I'll definitely let you guys know.
Yeah.
But,
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I
so
got
that's,
super excited.
So
but
that
anyway,
happened. Yeah, because I knew there was something with the girl, and basically,
yeah.
Mollis says like, "Oh, if I take Sarah's life, you can have the girl back," and then Constantine's like, "No, that's not how that works."
And it's also like something from his past that he saw.
Right,
Like,
and that's
everyone
right.
is seeing someone. So
right.
And then Sarah tapped in the totem universe, whatever it is, with Nora, is basically being told, like, listen, I can take away all your pain, or you can go back with all
Right.
your pain.
she was
I'm
really
like,
thinking about letting.
she was like,
Yeah, she was like,
had
oh,
that
maybe.
face and was like, "Oh my god, like, what's
Yeah.
she gonna do?" And
But
Yeah.
then the sweet Ava was talking to her while she was laying on the floor and
yes.
was
That's
like, "Come back to me,
That's
come
right.
back to me."
Yeah,
I
and
was
then
step
like-
into the light.
Ava like touched her body, and then he was like, "Oh, I felt that." I was like,
It
"Oh
was
god."
it was so funny and like really bad of me, but I kind of wanted Constantine to do the same thing and her wake up.
How's that?
Have Constantine be the
Constantine
reason.
like be
yeah.
like, "Wake up, get
Oh,
up,"
and then
like,
she got up. Oh,
she
yeah,
like
yeah.
reacts to
She's like,
him and not
"John."
Ava.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
So before, and then, so is this before that where they say, "Hey Mick, you got to use the fire totem"?
It was
like,
kind of yeah.
It's
it was
at the same
before.
time.
It was
Oh
at the
no,
same
yeah,
time.
that's right. At the same time, and
Yeah, but it like didn't work at first, and then he like brought his hand out, and then
Yeah,
the
that
fire
was-
started happening. And I was like, yeah.
I liked
I
Amaya
got
so
too.
excited.
Amaya was like, "Maybe this is your destiny." You know,
Yeah,
you're
it was like-
obsessed with fire. I was like, "Yes, this is
It's
like on the
true.
nose." Can
Makes
you just
sense
put,
for a
yeah,
power
like-
maniac. That's
Yeah.
when I felt dumb. I was like, how did I never think that Mick would be using the fire totem?
Right,
And
right.
like you're just not paying attention to him after.
Yeah, I guess so.
everything
He's such a
happened,
comic
so-
relief. I didn't
I
think
know.
about it.
But no, I was very happy that he got that now because now he doesn't need his gun. He can just be like, bam.
Yeah.
his hand.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Who
that's
knows
right.
what's happen?
Yeah,
I
I
feel
don't
like
know.
I feel like the gun will reappear.
And Zari did. Was it Zari or no? It was
Let me see.
who was with him?
What do you mean?
To tell him
Yeah,
to
yeah.
put it on. That was Amaya.
Amaya.
Yeah,
Okay, it was
yeah.
Amaya, not Zari. I like how Amaya said like you were a bad person.
Yeah.
And now this is
Yeah.
something good for you.
Right.
Like you turned it around even though you don't want to believe it or
Yeah.
see it.
Yeah.
And I
And
like
I think that was good.
And I like Mick. He keeps that like, "I'm no hero," and it's
Yeah.
like, come on,
But you
Mick.
are.
Like,
You really are.
You know, and
Yeah.
Because if you go back to like the Flash days when him and Snark are like robbing banks with their cold
Uh-huh.
and
Right,
hot
like,
guns,
he
it's
was-
like, oh, you were
right,
pretty bad.
he was a bad guy, yeah, and so was Snart, and they,
Yeah.
So you know, Sarah says no to Nora, like, "Hey, like, screw you," and then, Mick hits Sarah with the fire thing, which is really cool.
Yeah, well,
the
that was
whole-
pretty cool at the very
And
towards
then
the end. Yeah,
and then this was a great scene, the med bay scene, where basically
everyone.
all of the legends are hurt and injured in the med bay, and Sarah's
Ray
like,
was the worst though.
Yes, yeah.
He was like, whoop.
Yeah, Ray was pretty
Pretty bad.
crispy. He got pretty burned up.
Yeah.
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 and Sarah comes in and she's like, "I'm sorry, guys."
Well,
I just thought it was so
like
funny.
super awkward because she's like, I'm really sorry.
Right, because
guys."
it wasn't her. Like
Yeah.
the legend should
Yeah,
be like,
there's
you know,
there's no grudge with
right.
that. They're fine with
Even
it.
they, yeah,
They're fine
some
with
from
it.
joked was like,
Yeah.
"Is this you or?" yeah.
Right. And then there was a very sad moment with
Well,
Ava.
they made a quick reference with Constantine too, like, "Oh, maybe you should have a bed on the ship," you know, nudge,
Oh,
nudge,
yeah,
wink,
yeah,
wink.
yeah.
And I was like,
Right.
"Oh,
He's like, nope, I'm a
oh."
loner.
You know, I
He do
wondered if
things
they
alone.
knew. I mean, they must have known that was
They
going to
know,
happen,
yeah.
but they announced that Constantine was going to be a regular. I think the day of the episode or something. So it was,
Yeah,
it was
like
like,
the
a
day
very,
before,
very well
yeah.
timed.
Yeah,
that
it
they mentioned
was.
that.
I love that.
And then the CW executive starts knocking on the writing room door, like, "Hey, you gotta."
They're
you
like,
have a-
guys, wait before you do your last scene.
Right.
We have some news for
You
you.
have
Yeah,
a
yeah.
functional relationship in this show. You gotta mess this up real quick.
Yeah.
So.
That's going to be very interesting with the three, you know,
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I didn't
Yeah,
even
it's
think about
gonna
that with
be-
Sarah, Ava, and Constantine. She's saying, yeah.
like
Well, yeah,
for season
and
4,
the-
if she lasts.
And
if
we know
Ava
from
lasts.
Rip, there's something weird with Ava. Like, I
one?
hope
Yeah.
she doesn't.
Which we kind of see at the very end,
Yes.
at the very end, and
Yeah.
the preview for the next episode.
I never watched the preview, but
Okay.
yeah.
So well, let's finish
We'll
this
finish
up.
this episode, yeah,
so
yeah.
Sarah,
So Sarah goes in with Ava, and they
Yeah.
talk, and it's
She's like,
it's,
"I'm really happy, so I have to end this immediately."
yeah, it's a really
Yeah.
bad
Yeah.
breakup. Not bad breakup, but it's like she had to end it.
it was kind of just
it makes
Sarah
sense.
saying like, you know, I'm a bad person. Like I know
Right,
you.
I don't
know,
deserve
but,
you.
know,
It's
and
not
all that.
you, it's me.
And-
But it's
and
true. I called it because Sarah can never be in a relationship.
Yeah.
And if she is,
Yeah.
it ends up badly.
Yeah, and you kind of
She's good at what one night couple stands. Like it's
with
sad
Alex
to say
in
it.
Crisis on Earth X. Yeah.
It's sad to say it, but like the
But,
only like long term relationship she ever had was Oliver.
Jeez, and that was
like
so
a
long
long
ago.
time ago if you
Yeah.
think about it.
Didn't work
But
out.
I mean that happens
obviously.
again.
Bad relationship. Toxic.
Toxic.
I really want to know what's going on with Ava because I don't know.
I
like-
don't think we're gonna know until a few episodes.
Yeah, who knows? I
Yeah.
mean, who knows?
There's something you were talking about robotics, like she's a robot or something. And
That's mostly because, like I said, with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., there's
Yeah.
an Ava, and so that was a robot. But
right.
yeah, I don't know what's going on. Whatever it is, it's something weird, and I think her life's gonna be on the line, and maybe.
So, yeah.
Who knows if she's gonna be another in season 4.
I hope we don't lose her because
She's a good character.
There's nobody I dislike on the show anymore. Everybody, even the bad guys, like with Nora and
Yeah.
Dart, like I
don't
want them all to
know.
stick around.
I'm not saying something's bad gonna happen to Ava, but I just don't.
Something's
see-
gonna happen.
Something's gonna happen. I honestly don't know if I see her being on season 4. Honestly.
No, I think you're right because it's a lot of characters to have, and if they're bringing
Yeah.
in Constantine and
Yeah.
Dr. Fate, of course, then you're gonna need room. There's only so many rooms
But
on
I
the
also
ship.
feel like the whole like Time Lord and Time like where she
That might-
Bureau
that
where
could
she's
end.
coming from. Yeah, but then I don't know what's gonna happen because now you have Rip who is like not
we
even
didn't
in
see
it.
we didn't see Rip this episode. Yeah.
And he was a main character in the
I
first
know.
season, so it's
Yeah,
I know.
like you never know. Ava could be
I
like
think it-
in and out.
Yeah, I think they're still right now probably trying to figure out like what do we do with all
Yeah.
these characters for season 4.
And it's also sad, but it's like the ratings for each character as well. It's like if
Right.
a lot of people don't like the Ava character, the writers are gonna get rid of her.
Yeah.
So that you have to also put that into play. At least that's what my brain is like. Constantly
I don't know how you
thinking
can
about
like. I mean, I don't. All the relationships are so
Yeah.
well done and funny. I don't know how you don't like any of these people.
That's
They're
true.
pretty well done. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
But you were saying we get a little hint about Ava. What she left a note on the bed as like a
Oh,
sweet little
the
note
underneath, like save the spot for
for
Sarah's
girlfriend.
I was
Yeah,
like,
right.
oh my god, that's so sad.
That is pretty sad.
But yeah, you get like a little backstory about her in the preview for the next episode.
What is it?
It's,
Go
I
ahead and
couldn't even
spoil me.
describe it to you. It
Oh,
was,
I
like,
know.
A weird,
What do you
Okay,
say?
I saw the preview. No,
it
it's
kind of looked robotic, like
so no. There's
Oh,
like
really?
this
What's-
army of clone
it's
Avas.
clone Avas. It's really weird.
But the
like,
thing
I don't
is,
know.
Oh
though-
my! I might have been right just by accident.
Right, no.
I didn't take the robot
But-
thing seriously.
so-
I was
No, but if you
Devil's-
think like Agents of Shield, like you and I
That's
would
what I
know,
was
that's
thinking.
what I was thinking too
But
with
to,
you.
to devil's advocate, what you're saying in the preview, it does show Ava being like totally stunned at this.
Confused,
Like, they're like,
yeah.
oh my god, what is this?
There's like
Clones and stuff
multiple
that.
like clones
Yeah.
of her. So and
Yeah.
then it obviously is
It's like the
Oh.
Jango Fett's in Star Wars, like all the
Yeah.
clones. Yeah, that's literally what it is.
But that's a preview for the next one. But we
Yeah.
have to say the ending of
The
the
ending.
show was Constantine and Gary
This is
literally
so
doing
funny.
Dungeons and Dragons, and I was just like,
And
"This is the shit."
Gary was
this
narrating.
is awesome.
And,
Gary was narrating, and
Narrating.
Constantine
with his guild too, right?
Yeah.
yeah, and he had the
it's
hood
called a
on.
guild.
he has the hood on, and Constantine is just like, "Let's do this."
Let's do
like,
this, and then he
it
tosses
was
it up.
so
I was like,
funny.
and Constantine's on the
And I was like, and this is why I love Constantine.
That was pretty
that was
funny.
good.
Yeah.
That was a good episode.
It was a good way
a
to
lot
end.
of stuff
It
happened.
was a good way to end the episode. But yeah, a lot going on in this episode. That's why
Yeah.
we've been talking about it all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
But-
mean, it's never bad, Legends.
No.
But
Legends,
this
yeah.
one was particularly. You don't get a lot of episodes that focus on the plot, and we've been saying it for a while. We kind of
Yeah.
guessing at what the main plot is. This one basically
just
spelled it all out, and we
spells
know
it
what's
out.
going to
Yeah.
be coming
Yeah, this
for
is
later.
what I like about Legends. So yeah, that's Legends, and now we move to Black Lightning.
Last night I saw a superhero, he was black. He said, this is for the street.
Black Lightning's back.
Oh, he's back. Another
Another
Tobias
Tobias-free episode.
Oh, it's so
It's
nice
so
to have
nice.
notes.
You know, but
You see
so-
how good
The
how
episode.
good the show can be when
Yes.
Tobias is not there. I'm serious.
Literally,
I love how happy we all just
we all
got
are.
there.
I was so happy because because of Tobias not being there. Also because it
Yeah.
wasn't a villain in this one. Really, it's literally
was a
just
lot of-
all about the family.
Yeah, there's a lot
About-
of family drama
yeah.
and
I mean,
all that stuff.
I-
Yeah.
About Anissa, about Jen, about Jefferson. It's about all of the family,
So-
and I liked it. And
In
I never
terms-
say that about
in
Black
terms-
No, I
Lightning.
mean I don't know how you couldn't because it feels like you just kind of walked into somebody's house and you're watching like a real
Right,
family.
right.
It's
Yep.
that well done. I mean,
Yeah.
Black Lightning is not even in the same universe as the other DC,
No.
CW
As of
shows.
now,
No.
yeah.
It's maybe it is, but like
maybe,
I just
but-
mean in regards to like how well done the
Yep.
pacing and the acting is. It looks like
It looks like a real family.
professional came in and,
Yeah.
and did this
Yeah.
completely separate.
But
But I have to say, Jen by far is one for this episode. By far was the best.
oh,
She
I was gonna
she
say
did an
that she
absolutely
did
phenomenal job.
acting was,
Acting-wise.
oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Her superpower is moping, I think, right? Was the-
Right now, yes, it's
Moping in the
being a
very beginning.
teenager,
No, I mean, it
Yeah.
has to happen. Like, you could have that as like on any of the other shows, it would be 6 episodes of like, how could you lied to me?
Right.
I'm going away. Instead, we handle it all in like 40
Right.
minutes,
Yeah, yeah.
which I love.
And so, in terms of the big bad, I feel like we're always talking like, who's the big bad, who's the big bad, and I feel like if this makes sense to you guys, here we go. So,
Okay.
Tobias is
The bottom of the totem pole.
no, right. But listen,
In many ways.
Yeah.
what we're learning is that the ASA is like this huge dark organization that's trying to just like take out people
Right.
and all the green light and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I feel like in this show, the big bad for Jefferson is probably Tobias, right? But
Yeah.
the big bad for the show is probably the ASA.
Yes.
If that makes sense. You know what I'm saying?
Because I feel
Yeah.
like the ASA is the one who hired like
Right.
Lady Eve and also
Right.
hired Tobias to kill
Right.
Jefferson's dad.
So-
So I think yes, it's like a chain
yeah.
of high command.
And that's what I feel like. Because, like,
Yeah.
to Jefferson, he's going to always want to go after Tobias and stuff. But I feel like after that, he's going to be like, okay, the ASA is actually the real
Yeah, I think
Right.
thing
instead of
here.
even the ASA, more just Martin Proctor, who
Right.
seems to be
Yeah,
the
right.
The lead of
ASA
everything.
representative,
Yep.
Greg
Yeah.
Henry.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really wonder because 2 episodes in a row after having Tobias is the real
Yep.
bad guy, I really wonder if whoever's running the show was like, guys,
He's
have
not.
you seen this guy acting? Like it's
Talking
getting
about
worse.
green light.
I mean, I hate to just like crap on the guy, but honestly, there's been a few scenes where I'm like, this is kind of,
Stupid.
somebody needs to step in
There's
and try to fix
no-
this. It's
Yeah.
getting to a
With
point
the-
where it's getting a little silly.
With a villain, you kind of need to act with, like, that emotion and that, like
Well,
him,
we-
it's kind of just,
Yeah.
yeah, green light.
Well, he's had a lot of. It's
So,
right. He's
you
had a
know,
lot of
it's like-
lines that could actually be delivered in an interesting way
Right, that's
and
what
be
I'm
kind of
saying.
not just menacing, but actually flesh out the character. But
Right.
the
So
more
I
you
think-
see it, the worse it gets for
and-
Tobias. So 2 episodes without him, it's like a breath of fresh
It
air.
is. It really is, and
Yeah.
it shows. It like I think Tobias is more of a distraction in the show. So once you take him out of those 2
Right.
episodes, you really get to the root of the actual episode and what's going on. And
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah,
'Cause
I like it too.
I didn't like Black Lightning. I mean,
Right.
I'm
Yeah, you
still,
hated the first 3 episodes or so.
well, more than that.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was a while, yeah.
Yeah, but like these last 2 episodes, I was like, okay, I can get down with this because
Mm-hmm.
there's no Lala, there's no Tobias, there's no like.
You don't like Lala,
No, Lala's fine, but I'm
Oh,
saying
okay.
like no villains. There was no
right?
actual.
Right. It's all
villain.
just
Right,
about what's
right.
going on internally.
Yeah,
It-
and
it
there was
took-
no like principal school thing. There was like a hot second for it,
Right.
But like, there's none of that
It's-
stuff.
yeah.
So it's more family oriented. It's trying to figure out who's.
It definitely slowed. I mean, because we didn't even hear about who the ASA was until like an episode or 2 ago.
Right.
Last episode when
Yeah,
we first heard
Yeah.
about it.
then I
Yeah.
mean that's a little slow for me. I think they should have brought that
Oh,
in
they should-
earlier.
yeah,
But
I
it feels like a
agree.
course. To me, it feels like a course correction. Like they realized,
Right,
we
that
can
might
do
have
a
been
better
it, yeah.
job here, and they just immediately took a different turn and tried
Yeah.
to fix it.
But which
Yeah.
is weird because writers usually write episodes way in advance,
Right.
and the actors have already like for this season of Black Lightning, they've already done filming.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but they
Well,
may have. I mean, they do get the. I mean, obviously, somebody's
Yeah.
cutting the episodes and doing
Right.
it. They may have just realized that they could do a better job with it.
Yeah.
Right. I think what you're saying is like they probably did film the first few episodes, and then the writers were like, okay, let's try to take this.
Yeah, I mean, you
differently.
never know
That
what
could have
goes
been
in
it.
writers' rooms, but
Right.
Especially when you get Greg Henry. I love the guy that
Greg
plays
Henry.
Martin.
Yeah, Proctor.
yeah.
Yeah.
I love Greg Henry
So
much.
the episode. So it starts out. Now remember, it left off. The last week's episode was
Gamby confrontation.
The Gamby confrontation. He tells him everything, and
Mm-hmm.
Jefferson's mad. So it starts out where Jefferson's training, punching a punching bag, and then his eyes light up, and he's like really
Mm-hmm.
mad. And in the whole conversation, you hear
Yeah, a
while
little
this is
recap.
happening
Yeah.
and stuff.
which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and so Jefferson then calls the detective and basically says like, "Hey, I didn't kill Lady Eve," and he's like, "I know, but like,
Yeah, pretty
come
quick
on."
turnaround. 'Cause
Yeah,
last
yeah.
episode he was like, "You went
Quick.
way too far,"
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then now he's like, "Of course, like you're my guy. Like I know you didn't do
Right.
this," which is
Which is
I mean,
fine.
makes sense.
It's
I mean,
whatever.
they've been allies for a
Yeah.
long time.
Yeah.
And Black Lightning, basically the conversation was that the detective can't really do work while he's there because there's
'Cause,
so
yeah,
many corrupt cops.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
He's like,
knows.
yeah, I got some vacation
I
days.
know, what
and-
dedication. I said that, and I was like, you
Yeah.
gotta be kidding me. I'm going to use my vacation days to do detective work. Oh, and by the way, if I die, tell my family I was a good cop.
I
Yeah.
know. That
Jesus,
was like,
jeez.
oh god.
I was like, this guy should have superpowers. Like, he seems a lot more dedicated than anybody else.
Yeah.
He's also like, I'm just gonna do my job, and if I die, I die, and I'm
Right.
just like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So
I know.
he's
I was
doing-
so, was it Detective Harrison? Is that his name?
Henderson.
Yeah.
But as the episode went on, I was like, do not kill this guy. Because actually, I like him in the show.
He's good. Yeah.
We get towards the end, and I was like, he's dead. He's dead. And
No.
thankfully, that
Yeah.
didn't happen. But
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
I got scared when he was on the roof taking pictures.
Yes,
I thought
oh
someone
my
was gonna.
God.
I
see
know.
him.
Wasn't that
I was like,
obvious, too?
ah.
It's like, what
I
are
know.
you doing? Come on.
It was kind of funny, yeah. He's like running down the stairs later too, and they're like driving by, and it's like maybe you should have waited.
Yeah,
5
you should
seconds.
have waited a little bit.
You're a detective.
I was like, are you really a detective?
Yeah.
You're technically not a homicide detective.
No, he's like
but-
doing reconnaissance, and he's like wearing like, it's like Black Lightning. He's like sneaking around in like a neon suit, you know. It's like you never see him coming.
So so he's gonna do an independent investigate like what's going on, like what happened to Lady Eve, all that stuff.
Yeah,
And,
because the whole Jefferson thing, telling him like, oh well, I sent you a place to go to get the evidence, but you didn't do it.
Yeah.
You sent someone else, and that's when he knew there was corrupt cops in,
Right.
in the precinct.
Right.
So
And he said he sent some good guys or something like
yeah,
that.
and it turned out to be like this, like the previous episode was this one guy that
Yeah.
was just like, oh yeah.
It is kind of fun. I mean, it's the magic of editing, but for like 20 minutes of the episode, he's just taking pictures of corrupt cops for
Yes.
like,
Yeah.
as they're doing a deal. They're like, hey, officer
like-
so and so, good to see you. Oh, by the way, good job in like faking that murder with Lady. I'm like, okay, these people only speak in exposition, but I mean, I'm joking. I mean, you have to do that to help people keep up on what's actually happening on
Right.
the
yeah,
show.
yeah, exactly.
So it cuts out after that, and basically
Get
there's
Anissa.
there's a lot of these talks with Jen during this. There's like at least like 3
but
of them where
it's a
Anissa's
typical
talking
teenage
to her.
stuff.
Right.
Exactly. I was making fun of Jen moping, but it's exactly how a teenager would react.
Oh, right.
Absolutely.
And I'm glad they did it because when Anissa found out and told the parent, she was like, oh, okay, whatever, let's do this. And then
Yeah.
Jen's like the more realistic, like, holy crap, what's
Well, it's
going
also
on?
Anissa is like a grad student, so she's not going to
Right.
have the same reaction as a high schooler.
Right.
And so when she goes to visit Jen in her room and she's moping, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I
Yeah.
get it because
Yeah.
I was a teenager before, so I
Yeah.
know like.
yeah.
And that's
Anissa,
when
Anissa does. You want
Anissa
to do
does
some
a-
breathing exercises?
she's
Yeah.
like, I'm Thunder, I'll show you by picking up this. Okay, not all beds are that heavy. Can we talk about that?
Yeah, but you can't lift it like that. Like,
she
come
lifts
on.
it on
she lifts
one
it
end.
on one.
Yeah.
So
Come on,
she
you
lifts
couldn't
the
do
bed-
that.
All
No,
right,
I
Dan,
know.
Dan, that's your next thing.
We'll
You're
bring
gonna
a
have,
bed in.
Yeah,
and
bring
then
a
I'll-
bed in, and you breathe really heavily, and then you lift the bed up, and then
That's right. You
we'll
wouldn't come
take a
close to
video
that.
of it because it's very light.
That's right. That's right. So yeah, no, it's to show her like obviously Jen's like, you're not Thunder. Come on. He's like, I'll show you, and then lifts
But
the bed
I like
up.
how she was like, I'm Thunder.
Well,
Like,
I
oh,
like
okay.
that. And she's just it's how sisters would react. Like, oh my god, just get over it. I'm
Right.
Thunder. Oh, by the way, Dad's Black Lightning. You didn't know that either. And you see Jen's just like, what the
What?
fuck? Like,
Yeah.
But that's I just.
But it
I
had to happen
completely-
that way.
Exactly, and I completely bought it. And I was thinking, like, are we gonna have? Whoa, watch out.
Sorry.
I
Dan,
was
stop.
thinking, like, is this gonna be like some long 6 episode arc of like, oh, like,
Right.
who, are we gonna find
Yeah.
out? No,
Nope.
it's handled in
Bam.
45 minutes. It's
Yeah,
over.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was over this episode. They had a lot of talks with her, and yeah, basically.
But her reaction was like on key. Like it's something I would.
Right.
I
Oh
would
yeah,
have done.
that's what I'm saying. And
Yeah.
so they tell her, and Thunder lifts the bed, and then
Well, and this
she-
is like, you have powers too, and she's like, haha, real funny. Like
Yeah.
I don't believe you.
She's like, Dad's Black Lightning, and then
Yeah.
then she like freaks out and goes down the stairs. Right? She's like,
Yeah,
Oh my
she-
God,
she, like, walks
is it
out.
true? She's like, she's telling me that she's Thunder and you're Black Lightning, and then Jefferson's
Dad's
like,
yeah.
Well, he didn't say
Yeah.
anything, and then
Yeah,
Jen
she's-
was like, "Oh, so it is true.
Yeah.
Like, wow, thanks for lying
He's
to
like,
me
yeah,
my whole
thanks
life."
for lying to me and all that.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay. And I hate how Jefferson was like, we didn't lie to, and Lynn were like, we didn't lie to you. I was like, the one you just didn't tell the truth. Is that the line you're gonna use?
There were a lot of wise moments with Lynn and with Jen in this episode. But Lynn
Yeah.
says it even with Jen. She's like, listen, part of being a parent's like knowing when you have to protect your kids
Right.
and lie to them, just
Yeah.
like Santa Claus, like the Easter
Right,
Bunny,
right.
all
Yeah,
this kind of
it's
stuff. And
good.
it's like that's kind of a good
It's
point.
a good point.
right.
And then
And
Jefferson,
I do,
go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I do like the fact that she's like the only human.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Lynn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
she
the
like.
mother,
Yeah.
yeah.
So she's kind of like the icebreaker for everything, and
Right.
I like that. Even though her character is a little iffy to me right now,
Yeah.
I think she's a good like mother figure,
Yeah,
which
'cause
I think the show needs.
Because
She
they're
is,
all
and-
they're all
Yeah.
meta-humans, and then she's the
Yeah,
human there.
she's like the only regular
"Hey."
one.
But she's kind of quietly reserved. I feel like she's kind of quietly suffering because you can tell she was so against them being put in the harm's way, and now it's all happening
Yeah.
whether she wants it to or not.
Right.
And
She has no control over it
she
now.
makes her point. Like Jefferson in that same like family meeting in the living room is like, "Oh, I promise, none of them will get hurt," and she's like, "You can't make that promise.
Right.
Right.
You,
Right.
you
Right.
can't keep that promise.
Yeah.
You know." So she just has to suffer through it and be like, "Okay, that's what's happening," but I don't think it's gonna work out. I feel like
Right.
she's feels very ominous
Yeah,
about
she's
it.
very realistic.
Yeah,
about it.
because then Jen gets mad and goes into her room or something, and then them three are there, and Jefferson's talking to Anissa like, okay, what do we do now? He's like, okay, well, to find like the ASA people, we're gonna go after Greenlight, and I was like, okay, and then
Yeah, they're coming up with a plan.
right, because the vaccine that Lynn found was connected to Greenlight, which was also connected to Jefferson's dad. There's like a lot of stuff going on, but basically they just decide to go after Greenlight. And then I don't know how, but they somehow I don't remember, what do they track down? Like, oh, they go through the box, the box. Remember the forbidden box that?
Oh, yeah,
no
the
one's
evil
supposed-
box,
The evil
yeah.
box.
That's after Anissa is just like, listen, I'm gonna go do this whether you guys want me to or not. By
Yeah,
the way,
so
like,
she's
might
like,
as
I'm
well just
gonna-
give me permission to go do it at this
Right.
point.
right.
And then you see them like a brief moment with all the paperwork in Jefferson's office there as the principal.
And they're going through it. And again, this is a huge thing that happened that they kind of just went by. They're going through the research, and they find that this Benz Corp tried to bribe
Yeah.
Jefferson's dad to stop the story on the whole Greenlight, the bad
Right.
stuff with
Which
it.
obviously I didn't catch because I wasn't really paying attention to that part when she was going to the reporter in the first place and getting the files.
Right. Yeah, because
I
the
actually
whole
wrote
box
it down
and
because I was
stuff, yeah.
confused a little bit too. Ben's
Yeah.
Corp paid Onshore Inc. Ben's Corp wrote a check to Alvin,
Yes.
Right.
Jefferson's dad.
Yep.
Who
For an insanely amount of money that didn't.
right, and he wrote
Yeah.
GTC on the check, and then this was kind of goofy.
It was goofy.
Alvin, Jefferson's like,
like,
oh
yeah.
yeah, my dad instead of saying gotcha, he used to say GTC.
Yeah.
I was like, what? Who
Yeah, I
says
don't
that?
know. I
'Cause
don't
it's
understand. that.
gotcha.
Yeah, I know, but it's
Yeah.
just kind of like it's like
It's-
okay,
yeah, it's
that's
a-
convenient.
But the whole thing was basically saying that Ben's Corp was trying to get Alvin to stop the story, so they paid Alvin. But basically, Alvin used that paying off thing to corroborate his story, to make his story.
yes, yeah,
Yeah.
more-
almost
that's
like a
what
setup.
the whole thing. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
right.
But it's like it's something you wouldn't have picked up if you I wasn't paying attention.
right, because that was so quick that I
It
was
was
just I had to
so quick.
rewind and like, okay, what
no,
happened?
but not just that part. Like before, when I was saying like as she went in to go get the files and like to that secret,
Yes,
storage
the
area.
storage area.
you obviously saw that like BT whatever it was,
Yeah.
bio. I don't know whatever it's
Go
called.
ahead, yeah.
But like when they just said in the episode, I didn't put two and two together because I was like I probably wasn't paying attention
Yeah,
because
it
I was
was-
shitting on the episode.
It was a lot.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
So
That's what- yeah.
don't parse it
Thanks,
out.
guys.
There's a lot that went down.
You helped me out with Black Lightning. I help you out with everything else.
You know, but before this, we got the first indication. I had to like stop the episode and rewind it a little bit because Lynn basically tells Jen like, "You're not Supergirl," and just
Oh,
Yeah.
the moment on the couch.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I
I was like,
almost
whoa.
teared up.
You teared up, really?
No, I didn't. I
Yeah?
almost did.
Oh.
Because it's literally a typical mother-daughter.
Oh no, yes, because this is the
Is this
conversation.
the part you're talking about?
Yeah, no, this is
I was
in
just-
her room, right? I thought it was in her
Is it
room.
in her room? But
Oh,
because
okay.
then she's
I thought
like,
you were
Mom,
talking about the couch scene.
No, it's the first mention of any of the other superheroes in
Yes,
Black
that's why,
Lightning.
yeah,
so
yeah,
it,
yeah.
like,
Yeah,
to
yeah,
me,
yeah.
it
That's why it
like
was
blew my
big.
mind. I was
No,
like,
but-
oh,
yeah.
okay, we're in the same
But
universe
this,
now.
no, this made me. I kind of felt for Jen too, because Jen was like, I just want to be a normal person, like, and then she
Oh,
goes
later,
and
yeah,
says,
sure.
Later
yeah.
on. That's what I thought you were talking
That's
about.
if she can have kids and
right,
stuff.
she
Yeah,
can
yeah,
have
okay,
kids.
yeah.
and
Yeah, that's like the
and
end
then
of the
Lynn
episode.
didn't answer. I was like, wait, what?
Well, she doesn't
Like-
know. I mean, you could probably be like, well, chances are. they'll
Well,
just-
the Speed Force, and then they'll help it out.
Yeah, well, now we know that it could happen.
No,
But
so
it's funny, too,
I'm
'cause
jumping ahead, so sorry. Go
Okay,
ahead.
No, it's just
maybe
funny-
I got mine confused then, because maybe they
No,
talked
but I
twice.
remember the part you're talking about when
Oh
she
yeah, I'm
walks.
surprised you guys because this
No,
was
I
a big
remember
moment.
that.
She says Supergirl, and she's like,
Right.
"Mom, are you Vixen?" And she's like,
Yeah.
"No."
Oh, yes,
and
yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, "Holy shit!" Like
Right.
Yeah,
Supergirl
yeah.
and Vixen.
Yes.
So,
But she
Yes.
was joking, and she was like, "No,
Right.
I'm not Vixen."
but now,
But
now
it
they
kinda-
exist. Now they exist
No,
in
'cause
Stark. In
I'm telling you, it's the Arrowverse. They're trying to bring it into the verse.
I know,
But my
but this is the first
question
time
is,
it's
though-
popped up.
Yeah,
so
it is.
because what is confusing, because I went through this, I paused it, I was like confused because I was like, they know who Supergirl is, they know who Vixen is, right? But if they're part of the same universe, why was Anissa so surprised that superpowers are a thing?
No,
I remember that.
I think she was referencing how Supergirl and I don't think they're on the same Earth, but I think everyone knows of Supergirl
From like comics.
Oh, you
and
think
stuff,
so? I was
or-
thinking that actually it would explain that maybe they are on Supergirl's Earth, and that's why things are maybe a little bit
They
different.
could
and
be, but they
have
don't
them.
reference that. I mean,
No, they don't. I'm just trying to figure it out. I just
No,
thought
no,
it was
I know.
I was
interesting.
confused
but it could
too.
be.
I was confused.
That would make a lot
too.
more sense to me because I was like, okay, maybe she
They're
knows
not
that
on-
Vixen. Vixen uses a totem, so that's not superpowers.
Do you think they're on
But
like Earth 50, whatever she's
I mean,
Supergirl's
that's
on?
what I
Supergirl's,
would assume.
38.
38?
38. Earth 38.
Yeah. It'd be
Okay.
funny if it showed up and it was like a different Supergirl, like a fat version or something. Like,
But it's like you don't know if she's talking about Supergirl comic book or if she's talking about
Right,
like
that's why.
Supergirl.
Because the whole
you know what I mean?
But
Like,
the
I
fact that
don't-
she says, "Are you Vixen?" means that is a real person somewhere. So
Yeah, but it's also
they
a
do
comic.
exist.
It's also a comic.
No,
Yeah,
I-
but
but,
she
Jen,
asks
Jen,
as if
Jen
he's-
looked genuinely shocked, like, "Oh my God, are you really Vixen?" Because
Like the real
not as
thing.
a comic. Like if
Okay.
someone said that they're like Batman,
yeah.
but it's just a
I
comic,
do
you'd be
agree.
like,
It
True.
was
It was-
definitely a little confusing because the whole show so far has been puzzled by what superpowers are, and to bring
Right.
up Supergirl and stuff, I was like, wait, but
Yeah, but
how-
Supergirl's an alien. Vixen uses a totem. There is really no super, like, genetic superpower to any of those people
yeah,
just
I
yet.
mean-
So maybe
So,
that's
yeah, I
why
guess
she's
you could
surprised.
say that.
I mean, I agree it's ridiculous. She's doing the math, like, okay, divide by 2,
Right.
and superpowers are possible.
That's
Like,
why we said like they can't be part of Arrow and Flash's Earth because
No.
Flash and
yeah,
like
yeah.
I don't know.
They
I don't
could
know.
be Earth 38.
Yeah,
I mean,
maybe.
it's not referenced, and maybe it will be later on. But I
I thought
saw
it
that
would-
part, and I was like, oh, okay, like that's
Yeah,
that's
I thought it
kinda
was
cool.
exciting.
I don't
'cause
know.
The
Yeah.
idea of a crossover of just like Black Lightning and Thunder and Lightning showing up
Yep.
like with them, I think would be pretty
That-
hilarious.
Oh
Actually.
yeah, it would be.
It
They would be
definitely
like,
would.
"What? Like, where are you coming?
Right.
Who are you people?"
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
it'd be pretty cool.
But it'll, especially if it gets renewed. I think it looks like it's gonna get renewed. But like, I think if it does, it'll definitely be incorporated into the Arrowverse. It just what Earth are they on? And
I think that has to be explained if they decide to.
because that's why it's
to be in the
confusing because they
Arrowverse.
went through this whole thing like, oh, we don't know what superpowers are. Oh, now we do. By the way, I'm Vixen. Just kidding. But they know it.
They know
it's a
about
little
it. Yeah.
confusing,
Yeah.
But anyway,
I thought that was
It was-
pretty
no, it
exciting
was
to have
good.
that in it.
But it happened so fast that if you missed it, it would.
Yeah,
Right,
there's
right.
a lot of things happen. I always end up going back and kind of watching certain scenes, but
Yeah.
that one really caught my attention. And what else? Is being a school principal? I thought that was kind of a busy job. I mean, I know
Yeah.
we make fun of all these
Well,
jobs,
we've
but
already
he never
discussed
does
how
anything.
usually you develop the character in a certain job.
Yeah, and then you
halfway
right,
just
through
and then
the
never
don't
do
talk
it
season,
about
again.
it again.
Yeah.
halfway through the season,
I miss
they're like,
Catco.
To the
Not
outside
at the
world, I'm
job.
a school principal, but with my help, with the help of Gamby.
But to the people that watch this show,
Alfred.
I'm just Black
Alfred, yeah.
Lightning.
yeah.
no, but
But,
it's a true point. Like a principal should be super busy, but
Yeah,
no.
well, I was
Right,
thinking he
right.
got after that weird.
Oh, yeah.
How do you lather your soap in the shower conversation? Maybe he got fired, but
How do you shower?
How do you shower?
that still leaves.
Athlete's foot.
As much as I love the show, that still leaves this like weird
So when you take,
impression on me.
So when you
from,
take a
like,
shower, do
second
you-
episode. Where,
if you have athlete's foot, do you use the? It was
yeah,
like,
there's
oh my
some
God.
conversation that Principal Pierce has with a kid about taking a shower. It's really odd.
All right, so
But back on to what
so
we're
that
talking
was Lynn
about.
talking to Jen, and then it cuts to Gamby again being like,
My God, the worst scene.
what when he's in the back, he's in the car
and he
or
like
whatever.
drugs the guy.
Yeah, he like
it was
drugs
so,
the guy.
Black Mamba.
Yeah, the Black Mama, which
It was so
is
bad.
that familiar? I feel like I saw heard
Kill
Black-
Bill, you probably
Kill-
remember.
yeah.
Kill
Okay,
Bill.
maybe yeah, something like that. But
The first Kill Bill.
so he
I think it was
yeah,
referenced
he
in-
injects
yeah.
this
Daryl Hannah.
poison,
Yeah, yeah.
and he's like, "Oh, I have the antidote right here, but you need to tell me like where'd
He's
you get
just-
those weapons that framed Black Lightning?"
You know what?
and-
It would have been great if he left that too, and he's like, by the way, like, I didn't inject you with shit. You're just a moron. Like, I thought they was about to
expecting
say that. Yeah.
I was expecting
He's
like,
like, what do
oh,
you think,
I
I'm a
just
psycho?
injected you with water.
Right. It's like a saline
Right.
solution. Like, forget about it.
saline solution.
But,
yeah.
It was just a very awkward scene, and like him, like the way he injected him in the neck, I was just like, really?
It
Like,
was kind of
that's-
funny.
that's
It
kinda
was.
weird.
Yeah.
And then,
he's like,
ah!
he like
I
just
don't
popped
think
out. Yeah.
his character is just like meh to me.
You know, I like the actor, so I'm kind of warming to him a little bit. But
he's just
Gamby is
I
kind
think
of
just this role for him is like very weird.
I feel like the character is just all over the place.
Yeah,
you
he's
really
like
don't
this
know.
unstoppable force
Yeah,
that can
he-
do whatever he wants. I mean, the previous episode, he's like taking down a nightclub.
Yeah,
or
and
I
it
guess
was-
2 episodes ago.
yeah. with Joey Toledo. Oh, you remember Joey
Oh,
Toledo?
JT.
JT.
I'm really hoping the Death Totem is able to do something with Joey Toledo.
Joey
I miss
Toledo.
his son.
Resurrect Joey Toledo.
If we
Coming
could get
back.
Joey Toledo and Eobard on the show, I'd be so happy.
All right, so
We're gonna, you know what? We're gonna make our own episode, like a 48-hour film fest, just on that.
yeah,
That's right. Yeah.
Can we really do that? Because that
Yeah.
would be amazing.
That would be. Oh, I
That'd
can
be
write
so
so much
funny.
fan fiction about it.
But I do want to bring up a funny thing that you sent in a group text yesterday.
What was I saying?
You were watching the Flash Lego movie and you sent a screenshot picture of
Yes.
the Lego
Yes.
and Iabata, and I was just like, "This is so Chris. This
Yeah.
is awesome."
Yeah.
But I
I know.
started laughing when I was watching.
Uh,
I forgot what I was watching in bed, but
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
just
yeah.
like, "This
I'm
is so
such a
Chris."
fan of you. I love the
There's a
Reverse
lot of
Flash
those-
and the Flash,
Yeah.
and I was just looking at movies to watch last weekend or something, and I saw that image of. It was,
Lego.
Lego
it was still a
Flash.
Lego, but it was like a Lego Reverse Flash chasing Lego Flash, and I think it was called like the name's ridiculous. It's like DC Legends Superheroes Flash,
Flash,
the
yeah.
movie or something like that.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
something
There's a lot of
crazy.
those Lego.
It wasn't
DC
terrible.
movies.
It wasn't a terrible movie. It wasn't anything amazing, but the
So I
Lego stuff.
actually I have the picture right now up
Oh,
on my
good,
phone.
good, good.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
there
should
you
look it
I
up.
think I'll post this on our Instagram page
Yeah,
so you guys can
yeah.
see what we're talking
See
about.
what
If
Chris
you
is looking
see
at.
that image, you would want to watch the movie.
Oh yeah,
Because
actually,
it
yeah.
looks good. Like the Flash is all like
It's
happy and
Lego
And then
superhero. The
Eobard's
Flash.
like, ugh.
It's
Oh,
great.
yeah.
It's
Oh,
actually
yeah.
a great
It
image.
had some funny stuff in it, but
Yeah.
most of the Lego movies, after like 25 minutes, 20 minutes, you're like, okay, like it
Yeah,
wears off
yeah.
for me pretty quick.
Okay, so Black Lightning. So then Gamby gets the information he's looking for, where they made the weapons to take
Right,
down
he wants
Lady
the
Eve
weapons to
and-
see how they
Yeah.
faked the electrocution.
And
death.
so
Right,
then
right.
it cuts to Anissa and Jen having a conversation, which I'm blanking on what they talked about, like, oh, I'm here for you or something like that. I don't know.
yeah, it's pretty. That's a pretty.
more like a sister thing. Like if you ever
Right,
need
right.
anything, I'm here. Like I know what you're
Yeah.
going through, but even though I don't,
yeah.
Uh-huh.
it was kind of like a necessary scene between sisters.
Yeah, that was pretty quick because then you
Yeah.
get to Anissa and Jefferson. They go to interrogate the lawyer. He's got an Obama mask. She's got a Hillary.
Oh my god, that was
mask.
so funny.
Yeah, they both had masks.
They-
it was
they-
so dumb, so dumb. But at the same time, like the innuendos were like.
It was. It's just like politics is so toxic these days. I just
I can't
don't even
stay
go
away from
near
it.
it.
I know.
Like
Well,
it's just
yeah.
like just
Same
leave
here.
it alone. Like I'm
Yeah.
so tired of politics. But
but what did he say? Like I did vote for Obama.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
like,
he
I
said
voted
it
for you twice.
I was like, oh my god.
that was kind of funny actually.
Yeah.
But
That was
basically
funny.
they go to the lawyer just to get information,
Yeah,
shake him down,
shake him down, and
Yeah, because that's he's connected to Ben's Corp.
Ben's Corp,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
Right.
Because
right.
basically then the lawyer tells them like, oh, this is where the lab is, where they're making the green light and the
Yeah,
ASA
right,
and all
right.
that. And so they get that information.
But then also at the same time, you have the whole thing with the detective on the roof. with
Yes, so that's when that
taking the photos, which I was like, oh, Jessica Jones Part 2, here we go. Like,
So yeah, wait.
so much more entertaining than Jessica Jones
Oh,
season 2 though.
absolutely,
Than this
absolutely.
just has 20 minutes.
Yeah.
meanwhile, I'm like, where the hell does he get that nice camera? Because I want one.
It was.
Because he's
You know, I'm actually glad you noticed that. I was like, that's a really nice camera. Actually, I
that is
noticed
a
that.
very expensive
I
lens.
know the lens, especially. Yeah,
Yup.
yeah. I was thinking the same thing.
Well,
And
that's
actually, he
good.
had the old school.
Yep.
What
was
do you
it-
call it?
The strap, the
The
Sony strap.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like the one you'd see in the 70s and the 80s too. I like those. Anyways, but
We're photography geeks too,
Yeah,
apparently. So
yes.
that was pretty. I mean, if you, yeah.
yeah,
That's a
I'm,
nice
glad.
camera.
I'm glad that you noticed that because I was like, that's probably like $1,000 lens. Right
I was
there.
thinking
Wow.
that. I was thinking they probably have those lying around on the Black Lightning
on the
set.
Black Lightning set.
They're like, oh, we
So
can
yeah,
use this in effect.
he's taking pictures, and then like 20 minutes later, he's still taking. Because while he's taking pictures, technically, that's when Jefferson and Anissa are also talking to the
to the
lawyer.
lawyer. Yeah.
Right. Right.
They tell him
Yeah.
that, and then again, while this is going on, Gamby gets that information from the guy he poisoned, and then antidote, whatever, and then he hacks, and he's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
"Oh, who's this guy?" And then
There's
the
nothing he
guy
can't do.
Yeah,
But
The
it-
guy-
He's
that
amazing.
scene was so random.
Yeah.
You're
What-
like, okay, you get the guy's name and then you hack his and
He
and
hacks
then
his
it's
name
just like,
and-
I know who you are, I know where you
Caleb.
live.
He
Caleb,
hacks. He
yeah.
hacks the hacker Caleb, who's like, "Oh my god! Like, they'll tell my mom I got like, you know,
Right.
assault rifles."
Or he's like,
in the
who
other
are
room."
you, old man? And I was just like,
Yeah.
what
I
is
know.
going on?
It's like,
This
I
is
know
He's
who
like,
so
"No, I know who you
stupid."
are, Caleb,"
Yeah.
and all that. But I mean, that's Gamby. Like, I don't know how
Yeah.
he can do all this stuff. And Taylor is sued. The guy's amazing.
Oh, I know. Jack of all trades over here.
But we actually skipped over the Anissa's ass. I mean, that was a big part of the episode. Like
Oh, when
the
they-
Oh, the
little
blonde.
viral
that,
video.
that was, is now
The
towards
video.
the end. That's towards the end.
No, I have it right here. What they break in and then Jen's still moping and then she's watching like a video about like a little.
Yeah, I think that's. When that happens.
Yeah.
It's like Anissa's ass, like that.
Yeah.
But that ass.
But like
so
people are talking about her and like, in a good
Yeah, but
way.
that guy makes
I'll-
that video.
yeah.
When she first suited up, I did notice. All right, it's impressive.
Then you look at it and you're like, oh, okay, there it is.
You know, they mentioned that, and in the whole episode, I'm like, well, you can't just reference it and then not show it. So it's gotta. They showed it.
And
Right.
her costume, by the way, is I like it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was,
Outfit.
we got her
We
first
see her
Her
official
first Thunder
suit
official
up.
suit up. Yeah.
Which I did think was funny. We talked about it not long ago, but Gamby really does tell Anissa. Anissa comes to talk to Gamby and get like the real story. Like, why are you and my dad like on the outs?
Yeah, I thought that was good.
It is good, and everything's kind of getting out in the open. But he does tell her like, listen, like if you suit up, you're gonna die. Like the ASA is after you. Everybody's after you. And he's like, by the way, I made you a really nice new suit.
This
like,
is yours.
And
This is yours.
it's
Take it.
apparently bulletproof because you
Yeah,
saw her getting
yeah.
shot up and nothing
Yeah,
happened.
yeah. I mean, but also I think that's the breathing too, because I think when she breathes,
Right.
it's like
I mean,
super.
Sonic's
straight.
right. There should
Reflecting.
be some. The material should get a little frayed or
Right.
something.
Yeah, there's like nothing happening
Kevlar.
to it.
Remember.
I'm like, you're not Luke Cage here, girl.
Right. And
Yeah, she kind of is, isn't she?
I know,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Bulletproof and everything.
Gamby made a breathable suit, though. Remember that. He made sure we knew that.
Yeah, but still, you need some fray.
So the detective is taking pictures from the top, and while this is all going on, and so Gamby gets information from that Caleb guy where the Benz Corp or ASA's base of operations or something is.
Yeah, he's just
and-
like, just give me a location, give me a name
Yeah,
or something.
and then
and
he
the guy gives it up.
So he goes in
On
the
the
vent,
dark web.
and you see like flashbacks of Gamby. I guess he
know.
was a
Yep.
scout for
Back
the
in the
ASA,
day.
and basically would just report whenever he found a metahuman.
Right. But this
And
was
then-
before they were testing on kids, so he was doing what he was told.
Right, he was
Right,
just being
he
a
was
scout.
Just,
Yeah.
he was just like, oh, we found another metahuman there, and then who knows what the ASA did
They
after
tricked
that.
me on that too, because
Yeah.
one of the guys playing basketball had this outstanding flat top, like big fan of the flat top
The
haircut.
flat top
you know,
haircut,
like kid
yeah,
and
yeah,
play.
yeah.
used to-
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, that's the guy, and then
That's
it
the
was
guy.
actually
I
the little
honestly-
dude.
The little dude that
Yeah.
jumped from the,
The jump from,
3-point line.
I honestly thought that was a flashback of him meeting Black Lightning for the first time.
Oh, that would have been
That's what I
interesting.
thought.
Yeah, yeah.
But then it could be, but I
No,
was
I
just
don't-
like,
I don't
oh,
know.
maybe
I don't think so.
it
Maybe.
was
No,
him
because the
scouting.
little kid was some. Because then
He saw him later
he
on ice.
saw him
Yeah.
in that like
Yeah,
tube
but like
thing.
as it was happening, I was like, oh, maybe
Right.
this is Jefferson
right.
as
No,
a
actually,
kid.
I thought they did a pretty good job with the, I guess, the CGI work on his face, because I was like, that actually looks like a pretty convincing
younger-
young
yeah,
version
yeah.
of Alfred.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Makeup does wonders.
And so he's
Yeah.
so while that's
You're
happening,
telling me.
he's seeing the vents in the body, and he flashes back. He's like, "Oh, that's one of the kids that I found out and stuff." And there is a little spoiler for the trailer in the next episode that I'm going to say.
oh,
is
okay,
that
fine.
the people in those tubes are actually still alive.
Yes.
And they were placed
Oh,
in a
of course.
suspended
Yes.
state.
Yeah, oh, yeah, oh, yeah.
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 Oh, this is
So-
not my
Which-
first rodeo. If
Oh, yeah.
if you're watching
I was
that
gonna
show and you
say-
think they're all dead, then
Yeah, I
You're not watching
was
the
trying
right
to
thing.
think what other shows did that. Not
people
recently.
suspended animation and coming
No,
back.
like in the tubes and they're still breathing and they're still in it. Well, Supergirl references it, and when they're in that pod.
yeah.
But there's
yeah.
maybe it's
No, I'm kinda
Alien
drawing
vs
a blank, too.
Predator, where they're
Well, yeah,
in
there's
one
a
of
lot of
those.
stuff.
Predator.
I
There's
think
a
there
lot
was
of
one of
stuff
those
when
scenes
you're-
where they're in tubes and
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff when you're in like this
I
water
have to- I
tube.
just- I know.
Empire Strikes Back and Star Wars, Luke does it after.
I know.
it's
I'm
really
gonna I'm
cold.
gonna figure it out after the podcast.
I just like making Star
I
Wars.
know why I'm drawing such a
references.
blank. For some reason, I'm thinking of Mission to Mars, where Gary Sinise goes in like this liquid oxygen tank and stuff like that, and zaps
Yeah.
off. But that's something else. I'm just thinking of tubes.
I am too.
Basically, there are the people on ice in tubes. Captain America, if you want. You know, it's
Right, and it's
Oh, maybe
it's got-
maybe
they're
I'm
gonna come
thinking of.
back.
Do you guys see the movie The Island?
yeah,
With Ewan
yeah.
McGregor.
Yeah,
and
I like that movie a
Scarlett
lot.
Johansson.
Actually,
I think there
Yeah.
was also a scene where they're in tubes and stuff, and they're
Yeah.
still alive.
Yeah.
And but anyway, we're getting off topic. I just thought of that because I was like, I know there's other movies that has done
right,
that,
right.
but
I like that too. Like they have all the like the people like feeding the tubes and
Yeah.
stuff like that. It's kind of a sick idea.
it
but,
is. It's gross.
If you haven't seen The Island,
Yeah, I should check
Check
out
it
the
out.
Island.
It's a
check it
really
out.
good movie,
I like Ewan
and
McGregor
I
in
do
the
love
Star
Ewan
Wars
McGregor.
movies, too.
Yeah.
Not to
Ewan McGregor's
reference
awesome.
Star Wars.
you guys want to
again.
talk about The Island?
No. All right, back to Black Lightning.
So,
Renovadio?
so
Damn, Chris.
this-
Jeez.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I like The Island.
this was funny because when they show the vents in the bodies, then it's like, oh, okay. Then it cuts immediately, and Gamby's back in his tailor shop, and that's
Yes.
when Anissa comes in. I was like,
They've
wow,
done that
you-
a couple times.
have.
With
Quickly.
weird cuts with
Complete-
Gambit.
yeah.
Like there's like a scene missing,
Yeah.
or at least show him or show somebody else doing something.
Right.
I feel like the editor was
before,
just
and
like,
then-
oh, forget this
Yeah.
part. I'm just
Right,
going to
he's
cut
like-
and
Maybe
paste.
he's
Yeah,
a
he's like-
speedster. I don't know. The
Yeah.
speed.
Is it the
Who
Speed
knows?
Force,
Is it, this,
Dan?
it might be the Speed Force.
I mean, if he pulled off his mask and was Eobard, I wouldn't mind that. But yeah, and then we really get to it's all leading up to the lab takedown, which was kind of funny with
Which
Jefferson.
I have to say, I fell asleep a couple times during
Oh, really?
it, so I had
Oh,
to
really?
rewind it. Yeah, well, of
As
course
long as
I,
you got to see it.
I end up watching these shows at like 11 o'clock at night on,
right.
Yeah.
on a quote-unquote school night. So so it's just like I fall asleep and then I wake up and I'm like, oh crap, I just
Yeah,
missed
what
like
just
half of
happened?
it. So I like go back, thank God for DVR and TiVo.
Right.
But it was just like I had to rewatch it like 3 times because I was like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
this is how.
Now let's
I'd managed to stay awake.
now
Okay,
let's
that's
remember
good.
before. So Jefferson and Anissa show up to that building where like they're doing the lab and stuff, and the detective is still there taking those pictures. I think
This is when I thought he was dead.
I don't know how, but I think
That's a long time to take damn ass pictures. Let me tell you.
With that lens too, he could have been a mile away. We don't know.
I,
Like,
what I'm
true.
thinking though
a
is
long
like they showed us him taking pictures, and then immediately after Black Lightning showed up, but it was like before he was taking pictures, Black Lightning and Alyssa were doing other
Yeah, I mean,
things, and
It's just the
It
way
was
the
weird.
cuts
It
are.
was a
yeah,
little
it's
weird.
just
It
what
was a little
is.
weird.
I mean, you can.
But
yeah.
I like the fact like he comes off from the roof and he's like, I'm gonna go after them, and Black Lightning's like, no,
Yeah.
that's how you die.
right, and then
I
they're
know.
starting like Anissa and Black Lightning's walking, and then
slow
the-
motion walking
the
with their costumes on.
the
That was funny.
detectives
Oh,
walking.
yeah.
I was honestly thinking that they were going to turn a corner and be like, "Oh, hey," because they were
Oh,
both
yeah?
in the
Yeah,
same spot.
yeah.
I just thought it was funny. Like they're like Black Lightning's like walking in, and they're like, "Oh, this Black Lightning, get the hell out of here!" And I was like, "Yeah, that's a good reaction. You
Right,
should probably
right.
just leave."
It's Black
Right.
Lightning, yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And
but
that was a cool
taking care of business.
It was a
little
cool
fight
scene.
scene.
It was. It was
and all
cool.
that. And I guess the ASA people had some sort of weapon that turns his neon lightning bolts off.
They have
Did you
like
see that?
like an EMP or something
Yeah.
I
to
think
kind of
that's
like deaden
damper
his,
it down. But then it got brought back up. I
right,
guess,
because
after.
needed, like, a little
Anissa's
jolt.
threatened,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Oh, no," and he
Right,
take it
right.
out.
Yeah,
But you
yeah.
also hear the with the security force, whatever they are, in full body armor. They're like,
Yeah.
"We have orders to take him alive."
Right.
So now we're kind of
Right.
getting pictures of the large ASA
Yeah.
picture.
Yeah.
So
One thing about the costumes that I do not like is the face mask.
yeah, they both
have the same
face
one.
mask.
I know
Where-
it is a little odd.
But me being like, how is it staying on them? Is it like
Right.
glued? Is it like
Yeah, because
Velcro?
there's
like,
no
what-
strap.
There's no
Funny you
strap.
said that. When I saw it, the first thing I thought of was, it's odd. I remember this so well in the theater. I saw Batman and Robin shows
Oh,
up,
God.
like it's just like glued to his face. The
Yeah.
Chris O'Donnell,
Right.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
horrible.
yeah. The horrible one.
And I remember thinking, even as a kid, I was like, how does that stay on? And like I had the exact same feeling
They
watching
must
this.
like
Like,
not
Really?
super glue because that ruins your skin, but like
Right.
I don't
don't
know
know.
how
No,
it
it just-
works. It's
and-
just and it's ugly because you can see their face, you know who they are. It's
right,
just like
it's like what they do with Diggle
don't have a
too. It's like
disguise,
for the
yeah.
actors, they want you to be able to see their
Right,
face, so you can
right.
tell what's
but
going
the whole
on.
point
but
of a superhero or villain is so you don't know who they are
right,
in real
I mean,
life.
believe I
But-
laugh every time I see Diggle in his thing,
Diggle
and
and
it like
the
actually
light up.
lights up his face. I'm like, what kind of costume
Yeah,
is that?
it's stupid.
But,
But, yeah,
it's a good
that kind
point.
of bothered me with the costume. But other than that, I thought her costume was great.
Yeah, this is good.
Um,
And yeah, they beat him up, and then they destroy the lab. Right? Is that
They destroy
yeah.
the lab, but not
Oh,
before.
yeah.
But not
They have Martin Proctor basically dead to rights. They have him like right there, and he's like, I'm gonna kill this scientist. And
Yeah.
BL's like, oh, you'd be doing me a favor if you did that, calling his bluff. And then the lights go out, and Proctor just disappears. Just
It's
disappears.
kind of
Oh,
thing
yeah,
like Tobias
that's right.
did. He was just like,
yeah,
That's
just
right.
just really. I mean, I don't know
Yeah.
where the hell he went.
yeah?
but,
And then someone was gonna
maybe he's a metahuman,
so,
Maybe.
someone that would be a twist actually.
Right?
Then someone was
Actually,
gonna
that could kind of make sense. He's been getting high on his own supply. and
Right,
maybe
yeah,
He's like got
or
some
like
kind
like
of,
he's the guinea pig of his own supply.
oh, yeah, and like
that
maybe
would
the
be kind
stuff
of cool.
keeps him alive. or
Oh
something
hey,
like that.
drum roll.
Yeah, yeah. I could
But
see
yeah,
that. I like
Yeah,
that.
you
I
never
could see that.
know.
Yeah, so someone's gonna shoot Black Lightning, and then Henderson comes in. He's like, "Oh, you're welcome," and he saves them. And yeah, but then they do end up.
We didn't talk about the couch scene.
That's after, right?
Is it?
It's
Yeah.
actually before, but
It's before.
yeah, we're just trying to finish
Right.
one thought. I mean,
right.
basically, that's what
Yeah.
happens. They take down the lab, and you get the standard
The
walk away
walk
from
away.
building.
When that
as it's
happened, I
blowing up.
chuckled a little. I was like, "Oh,
Yeah,
of
I mean, that's not
course."
done
And
as like a serious thing. That's
Right.
No,
that's a
it's-
joke.
yeah,
You know?
the
yeah.
slow motion.
But it was funny, and I mean, Anissa and Jefferson, their chemistry.
I like
the way they
that
take things down.
that
It's like,
relationship is so
They're
funny
really good
and
together,
good.
and I'm actually curious to see how the three of them are gonna do together.
Yeah.
Once Jen,
I feel like Jen's gonna be like that rebel kind of like,
She
I'm
is.
gonna do what I want.
but I think she's gonna be a
character.
badass one.
Yeah.
She's gonna
Oh,
be
yeah.
great.
It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
they're setting it up well. I mean, the acting on this show is 10 out of 10.
Yeah,
Besides
I agree.
Tobias.
When it's Tobias, it's 9 out of 10. But
Yeah.
it's pretty good. And we were just referencing what the couch scene,
Yeah, go ahead.
kitchen scene, whatever it is.
Yeah.
That's when.
No, it was a good moment. That's when Jen was saying like, "Am I
That was-
gonna have kids? Can
Right, that
I
was
live
so
a
sad.
normal life?" And she like started crying, and I was just like, "This is like so typical because this is what happens." Like,
Yeah.
not that I'm saying like every child has a conversation about superpowers when
right,
they're
right.
with
Right,
their mom, but
it
it's
gets
like
to the heart of it instead of just
Yeah.
painting it over like a superhero show. It's like, oh,
it's-
nobody's
you
ever
you
talked
don't
about
think
that.
about that. Like, can I have kids? Can I get sick? What happens if like I
Yeah.
die? Do I come back? Like, it's
Right,
like
right.
things
That
like
was
that.
so,
That it's like,
yeah, that one was
oh.
really emotional when she said,
It
"Do I have
was.
kids?" And then Lynn couldn't even answer. I was like, "Oh my goodness,"
'Cause she didn't know.
Yeah, right? Because then I was like, "Wait, but you had kids?" But I was like, "Oh wait, Black Lightning's the one that."
yeah,
actually
and then
had
she
blood."
asked, like, is that the reason why you and Dad broke
Broke
up
up,
or
and it
got
was like-
divorced? And she's like, yes,
Yeah.
it was. And she's
Yeah,
like,
and
don't
then
lie
she-
to me anymore.
Right,
This is,
and
yeah.
that's when Jen was like, "So is that going to happen to me? What if
Yeah,
I get
yeah.
a relationship?" And then, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
she
crazy.
really nailed it when she's like,
She
why
did.
why did you and Dad break up? And she's
Yeah.
like, well, because of the superpowers. Yeah, you're right.
Right.
Like, it was a problem. But,
yeah.
everything's different.
Right.
And then she kind of, I mean, we already did the scene where they blow up the warehouse, which was kind of funny. They showed Jefferson electrifying everything, and they showed all these beakers and stuff.
I know.
Yeah.
Did you guys think, I'm so Flash
You're like the
obsessed.
Flash. You
It
were like
reminded me
that.
of the Flash so much. I think that's why I was actually.
It just wasn't red and yellow when it happened.
No, yeah. And I
Did
think
you see the red streak going by when he
Oh,
was
that would be awesome.
but it was kind of funny. And then we get Jefferson, and he goes to talk to Jen at the end of the episode. And I thought Jen really, this is something no teenager would ever say, but she really nailed it because she's like, well, he's like, listen, I lied to you to protect you. And she's like, yeah, I know that. I just kind of forgot that I know that.
Yeah.
And
It was good.
that's
But
a very well-written thing to
It
say,
is.
but
It is.
well, no teenager would say
Yeah,
that.
that was a little.
It depends on the teenager.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a very mature approach to it, I thought.
Yeah, and then towards the end, are we close to the end?
Yeah, that's
That's basically
all
it.
I have,
It's
yeah.
Princess and the Frog.
I did like
That's
that whole
right,
scene.
Princess
Should
and
I
the
make
Frog.
popcorn? No.
Yeah,
I was like, what? You
Sit
can't go.
down.
Yeah, I can't watch a movie without
Yeah, I
popcorn.
was like, why did he say no? She say no to the popcorn? I was pretty. I don't know.
I should just, I don't know.
I forgot to think
But
about
it was
popcorn.
cute because it was something that they used to do when she
Yeah,
was
and
little.
that was good.
I was a little
liked
bothered
it.
by it because it was already in the DVD player, and she
Well, I
just
think she was
clicked
gonna
it up.
watch it anyway.
Was she? Yeah.
I feel like
I
it.
love it. You get mad about the DVD. I get mad about the
It
popcorn.
was just already in the DVD. I don't know.
Well, when I saw that, it was like DVD video. I was like, I'm still watching DVDs, huh?
Well, it does
Could
happen.
get some
yeah, it does.
Blu-ray.
Hey, I
you
still
know.
have a DVD player.
Well, Princess and the Frog isn't on Netflix though. No.
I have no idea.
Maybe they don't have Netflix in this earth.
Oh, jeez.
Oh,
What an earth.
Have you
Here
thought
we
about
go.
that? Yeah.
You thought about that? Anyway, so that wraps up Black Lightning, and
Yeah.
then
Good, and
literally,
maybe one. Of, I don't want. I might say maybe the best episode they've done.
yeah, it was pretty
It
good.
could be.
It's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
so it's so smooth, and
Yeah.
I don't know.
every-
I don't know any other show that feels like the drama is actually justified and the acting
Yeah.
fits it
Yeah,
perfectly.
yeah.
It's impressive.
Yeah.
And yeah,
It is.
and I'm kind of hoping and praying that Tobias does not come back.
Tobias.
That's
Wouldn't it be a great like first 5-10 minutes?
Last night I saw a superhero.
If he was back,
black.
and
He
then-
said,
If they just zapped him out, it's kind of like in the Bond movies, they had this contractual dispute with like Blofeld, the big bad guy,
Yeah,
and in
yeah.
one of the Roger Moore ones, they just dump him down a smokestack and are like, yeah, he's done. Like, it would just be great to just get him out, just kill him and get him out of the way.
They just need to find a
I
cure
think that's
for
what's gonna.
immortality.
I think.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I think the thing is they're gonna defeat him first, get him out of the way, and then he's gonna go after like probably that Proctor guy.
Yeah, that's what.
Maybe.
Well, Proctor would be the big bad.
Yeah,
Right,
for sure.
right.
They've set that up at this
Yeah.
point. Yeah.
But 2 Tobias free episodes.
That's
and
right.
I was
Yeah.
happy. So overall, I liked the last 2 episodes of
Yeah.
this one.
No, it's
Yeah.
getting getting
So, yeah.
good.
So that was it for the CW Arrowverse universe because there's
Yeah.
no Flash, no Arrow, no Supergirl.
Yeah. Now it's Lego Flash Talk.
Lego Flash Talk. But we all watched
We're gonna-
Krypton.
yeah.
So I do want to, Chris is like moaning over here.
Oh, I can't wait. To talk. We're
His
gonna
opinions.
We won't do like a full out.
No.
recap.
No,
we're
no,
gonna
no. We're
say
just
our
gonna-
thoughts about
We're
it.
going to
though.
say our thoughts.
Krypton
And-
on Sci-Fi.
Yes.
Yes,
So,
on the Sci-Fi Channel Wednesdays, I think. Wednesday
Wednesdays
nights
at 10.
So, like I said in the very beginning of our podcast, I am a huge, huge Superman fan.
Yeah.
So for
Totally.
me, knowing the backstory, more politics of Krypton itself, and knowing like about the grandfather and like everything else, I kind of like where it's going, only because that's what I used to read in the comics.
Okay.
And that's the stuff that I was like, no one ever, made a show or made sense of all that, because you're like, okay, Clark Kent's going to become Superman.
Right.
And then that's what it's going to refer to. Then you have Lois Lane and all those characters, but you don't know how it happened before Clark.
Yeah, they've never touched on
Right.
it. That's
They've never.
very
Right.
true. It is something different.
And that's what I like about it.
They
Because
do-
if you go back to the very first issues of Superman, you
Right.
see how Krypton is. You see like all those things.
Yeah, and they touch on stuff with like his dad Jor-El and stuff, but nothing like too huge.
No,
or
but
anything
it's
like
mostly
that.
about the grandfather.
Right,
Which
right,
I really like.
right.
Even though
Seg.
I do have to point out that it's very British oriented.
Yeah, they all speak British, which
yeah.
is on Krypton.
They all speak
on
British.
Krypton.
They speak it's English.
yeah, no, but
No, the British accent.
Yeah, yeah.
I noticed that too, and it seemed you want to go ahead and
Wait,
compliment
because
it before I destroy it.
I
'cause-
want to do your opinion, Sonig's opinion, Chris's
Okay.
opinion. I'll say mine, and then I have one more thing to say. So,
Okay.
are you done
so
with?
are you asking me questions, or like are
no,
you just
is there anything else you had on the show to say, or?
I mean, it's only been the pilot, so you can't
Right,
really.
right, true.
A lot happened. I don't know if you guys watched the second half, which was the
I
commentary
did.
about
Yeah,
the show.
that was
yeah,
pretty cool.
With the writers and
Yeah.
everything, which I thought was pretty cool.
like making a legend or whatever it was.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but like I said, I liked bits and pieces of it because it gave you the backstory about Krypton itself. It's a little political for me, which I mean is relevant to
Yeah.
whatever the hell's going on in this Earth. But I liked it. I'm not convinced yet of the main character who plays the grandfather.
Segel.
Yeah. But I
You talking
do
about the young kid,
young one.
the star, yeah.
the star, the main guy. Yeah.
Horrible.
Yeah.
I mean,
again-
honestly,
again-
I think actually really bad.
Yeah, again, it's the pilot, so I don't know.
Dad, what'd you like to be? Yeah, I didn't care for it.
No, I've never heard of him as an actor before, so this could be his like debut. But anyway, but I did like the fact that someone from Earth came to Krypton, warning
Yeah,
him.
when I saw the Detroit Tigers hat, I was like,
Yeah, I was like,
That's not
he's from
right.
Earth. The actor, who is
He looks familiar.
Yeah, he's been in a bunch of shows, guest stars.
Okay.
He's never had like a full role before. I feel so bad for him. But no, I like that whole concept of it. I liked I don't like how they got to Fortress of Solitude, that whole like stupid thing, and the whole because there's so many renditions of the Fortress of Solitude that you don't know
Yeah.
exactly what it looks like.
right.
But it's like before it became the crystals and everything like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know how they're gonna portray that. So
What I was confused about there is, didn't Jor-El make that for Fortress of Solitude, and then it was like, oh, Clark, you can use this now.
no,
I thought it
it's
was like a
it's an
whole-
L family thing, so it's like passed down from generation.
Oh,
to
I guess that
generation.
makes
That's what I
sense
was
because it's
thinking,
on
yeah.
Krypton, but
It's
then
on
Clark
Krypton,
goes
but
to
it's-
Earth, and then
It's like hidden from like the main
Right.
hub of Krypton.
right.
So like that's like, and it's the only part of Krypton that actually survives. So because it's his
interesting.
Fortress of Solitude.
Right,
so it's
right.
like, yeah. So I thought that was cool, but I don't know. I honestly don't know which direction they're going to go in, which I like because of it.
Chris-
I'm
But
with you. I'm with
Chris
you on
is
that.
like gearing up here.
He's like,
No,
I'm
no,
ready
no.
to
I
take
hate
it
it.
down.
I thought it was done poorly. Honestly,
Yeah.
the description of the show, the idea that Brainiac is coming from the future to destroy Krypton,
yeah.
that was like, okay, that's my kind of thing.
Yeah.
Time
Yeah.
travel.
Right,
I love Brainiac.
right.
I would love to see
Love
a real
Brainiac.
Brainiac
Yeah,
story.
yeah.
They really duped me. I thought Brainiac was going to be a part of this episode. I didn't know it was going to be like, Teen Wolf in space. But basically, I didn't really enjoy the acting from
Yeah.
almost everybody. I actually thought it was pretty hollow, and it had that kind of sci-fi.
Hence why it's on Sci-Fi.
Yeah, it just kind of, it looked like sets that I've seen before. It looked like
I
a
was
kind
gonna
of
say-
approach that I've
So-
seen before, almost like
So the scene with where you the Brainiac scene at the very end with the huge thing coming over.
Right.
That reminded me of Man of Steel.
Uh-huh.
If you saw that,
Makes sense, yeah.
that whole like the Zod kind of creature.
Uh-huh.
Right.
So that kind of reminded me of that. But I agree with you. I think the acting was not up to par.
Yeah, especially with the lead, I was actually really worried halfway through. I was like, "Is this guy is the lead character,
he's
and
the lead.
he's going to be carrying the show?" I was like,
Yeah.
"He's not ready for this."
But I also think this might be his debut in television.
Yeah,
maybe let me stalk him.
Let's
maybe his finale too.
No, but like
his finale.
I saw previews for Krypton obviously before it, on Sci-Fi.
Right,
But
mhm.
I also, because I do my stalking, I'm a huge awesome music fan. So like South by Southwest was this week, and everything.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah, it was
Oh,
this
okay.
past 2 weekends.
Yeah.
And like every person from DC was there signing, and DC and like the whole cast of Krypton was actually there signing autographs
wow.
and stuff like that.
Okay.
So I think that was like their intro to be like,
Right.
hey, we're a new show on the DC, universe,
Yeah.
whatever. So that was kind of cool how they incorporated that. So there's a lot of hype going into the show.
Yeah, there's been
There was
lot
a
of
lot.
hype.
It was
And
a
they-
lot of
Yeah.
promoting.
They,
There's a lot of
they
promoting.
sold me
lot.
on that Brainiac image, which at the end I was
Right.
like, "Oh, that's what I've seen in the
I mean,
commercials 12 times."
Let's
Yeah.
be real. They sold me on like the cape and the Superman logo,
cape
and I
and
was
the
like,
Superman logo.
"Hello!"
Yeah,
like, I'm
they
stoked.
They promoted it, and they did a smart thing. They had the commercials always run on the CW where the other DC shows are. That's when I was like, oh, let's
Yeah, but
check
it
this out.
always said coming soon, so you never
Yeah,
knew exactly
which
when
was
it was.
weird.
But I
because-
mean,
yeah.
Sci-Fi always is like
Right,
Wednesday, March,
right.
blah blah blah. But
I'm not
anyway,
as-
go ahead. Let's hear your
let's keep
opinions.
going, yeah.
Well, I'm not as interested in the politics of Krypton and how things kind of came about, but even if I was, I thought the approach that the show had to it basically Krypton's going to be destroyed. They're going to ignore the
Right.
warnings. We all kind of know the story of how Krypton
Right. Yeah.
dies. But also, to start off, what is it? What's the main character's name?
Segel.
Seg-El.
Yeah.
Seg.
I'll have to write that one down.
S-E-G.
Seg.
Segel.
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 So Seg-El, his dad is Lestrade from Sherlock. I always liked that actor, but he's dead.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
So the
yeah.
the
You're
one
right.
little like silver lining, I was like, oh, he's gone. Okay.
And he's gone.
I guess I'm not as excited by it. It seems like a drama show that happens to be set in Krypton. I didn't get a lot of the sense of what's going on with Superman. I mean, these people are supposed to be a pretty advanced, intelligent,
Yeah.
well-regarded race, and
Yeah.
they look like a bunch of idiots. And
But it's like- it's
they're wrapped
also-
up in their own politics. There's
Yeah.
like slums. It reminded me of like some of these like Red Rising books or something.
It also reminds me of the movie Divergent, where you have different factions.
There you go. Yeah,
Yeah.
that kind of idea,
Yeah.
like almost
But
like a
that's-
dystopian approach
Yeah.
because the whole world outside of them is destroyed.
But that's kind of the thing with Krypton itself. You kind of see it on Supergirl too. Is like that Krypton. It's kind of corrupt, and there's so much stuff
Yeah,
going
but they're-
on. and-
Yeah.
The society is somewhat elevated. There's not like
Right.
slums and stuff like that because they
Right.
at least have the intelligence and technology to give people good lives and
Yeah.
everything. This one seemed like it was just
You have the slumps. You have
exactly.
But
It
it's
was like a
also
whole
like
different
set,
approach.
set so far
right
back.
Like we've never even seen. It's kind of like Gotham. Like there's no comics on what Gotham is doing. Like there's not really
Yeah.
any comics on
Yeah,
what
so
Krypton's
it's like-
doing.
I mean,
it's-
Gotham's so far outside of the real
Oh, yeah.
Batman universe.
Right.
I've tried 3 times with Gotham. I give up on.
Oh, no,
I can't get into it.
It's good.
But,
But no, I think this is for me. It's a good way to find out if you are a huge comic book nerd like me and know Superman by.
I mean, I know Superman. I like Superman,
Yeah.
but the
It's just the
politics
origin
of his
story.
dead planet 100 years before. It's at some point I'm like I don't.
But
I
it's
kind of
something
like.
that's never been done before, so I think that's
Right,
why
that was
I'm
the
Yeah,
weird
but-
fascinated.
thing, and-
I don't know.
Yeah.
I honestly, and then if we're just going to talk about the production of it, the editing, there was something. The show must have had. It must have been a different show that they cut up to reshoot or change because it was a mess. This like
The
you're talking about
pilot.
when they the pilot
Yeah,
was a mess.
yeah.
Like the scenes were not making sense. His mom gets his mom gets captured and he's hiding in the wall. The next scene he's in prison with her, like talking to her, and it's like, what are you talking? Where's this coming from?
Right.
Yeah.
And you were talking about the Fortress of Solitude. They take this journey outside the city just to almost preview, like, hey, there's a Fortress of Solitude here.
Right.
Superman fans, stick around. Like, there's a
Yeah.
fortress here.
Yeah.
And then 5 minutes later, we're back in their apartment and she's getting arrested. It just
Right.
there were a lot of moments where I was like, this
I
is
think
not
it
well
was
made.
too much in one episode going on. I feel like if they took bits and pieces of it out,
Mm-hmm.
it would have been a little better.
I mean, I like the if you were reading the plot of the show, I was like, oh, I'm definitely up for this. So if it does actually start becoming a kind of time travel thing with Brainiac, I've always
Yeah.
wanted to see a live action Brainiac done well. So I can watch it for that.
But it's also a relief where it's not Zod. and it's not Lex Luthor.
Right, it's not the
Yeah, that's-
ordinary.
You
That's
know,
true.
it's
I mean-
going back into the comic where it's Brainiac. It's like other.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for
Brainiac's a
Brainiac.
huge
I just
Superman
Huge.
villain too.
like you mentioned
Huge.
Divergent, the whole like security
Yeah.
guild or
Yeah.
whatever.
Right.
Like, oh, I was just
Yeah,
I
there's
was
different
not into
guilds,
any of that.
Right.
military, science.
I mean,
and
then
all
again,
that.
it's just the first episode, so I'm gonna give it a try because
Right.
I love Superman, Clark Kent, everything
Yeah,
like
I'm
that.
gonna watch it in the hopes it gets better. But it was if we weren't doing this, I would have turned it off probably about halfway through. I think last night I was having a real hard time with it.
Yeah.
So you want me to
Go
say
ahead,
what
Dan.
I
Let's have it.
Let's
Let's have
hear
it.
you.
So honestly, I thought it was kind of interesting. I thought it was an interesting show. It definitely had one of those pilots where I don't know if it's this political show or a superhero show, and it kind of left me like, okay, I got to check out the next episode because I was like, okay, with all the guilds and stuff, it's like, okay, so it's a little political. But then I see Brainiac, and I was like, oh, that's
Yeah.
Brainiac.
Yeah.
Like,
And
But-
you know, you mentioned. Sorry, I'm just going
No,
to
go
interrupt you.
ahead,
But how can it be a superhero show when there's no yellow sun to give him power?
Right,
So it's
right.
like
That's why
that's
I'm-
what I was thinking too. I
Yeah.
wanted to mention. It's just like, oh, so like either I'm really up for like the politics of Krypton, or that doesn't
right.
excite
Yeah.
me.
Because I was so because I wanted to learn more about like the whole Krypton thing too, and it's like that's why I was just left like, okay, I have to watch it again. I think because I don't know where they're going. Like, who are they? They say they set it up like they're gonna fight Brainiac from. So did Brainiac come from the future and was like, I'm gonna destroy Superman's planet? Is
I
that
mean,
what
if
it basically
Brainiac is time traveling, you're screwed.
Right.
I don't know how they're going to solve that,
What-
but
right? Because he's the
Yeah.
even if you
consumer
lose,
of
he's like, okay, I'll
worlds.
just go back a little bit earlier.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
the collector of
collector
worlds.
of worlds.
I did
Yeah.
like the cape disappearing, like Marty McFly type thing.
Right,
Yeah.
That was
right.
cool. That
That's
was cool.
cool.
But I mean, that's all. The main thing I would say is that it was interesting, and I just don't know because obviously with these shows, there's fighting and battles. Like, there's no superpowers. Well, Brainiac,
They're
but
like
like
regular
how.
humans
Right.
living in an
He's just-
alternate
Yeah.
In a
universe.
So
fight,
they just, like,
he's like super
using-
quippy and plucky in a fight, you know.
Right, yeah. So they're just using like blasters, and they have like speeders that Star Wars, it's speeders or whatever. And yeah, like I honestly was left like, okay, I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah.
Next week. Now, I do have to say, because a couple days after, I was like, I want to see what other people were thinking. It got a lot of bad reviews.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like a lot.
Honestly, even if like I'm not, I don't mean to just like shit on it, but just the way it was put together was poor. Like,
It
like
was.
the
I
actual
agree.
construction of the show
Right.
was
I
very
agree.
poor.
There was
Yeah.
so like to just go through. One guy posted something. I think it was on Reddit or something. But basically, it kind of made sense. It was like, oh, thank God we got this show set 200 years before Krypton that no one really asked for.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I see that. Because like, if they did a show where it was like Jor-El and like, you know, Superman's dad and him going through this and then, you know, whatever. But like 200 years, it's kind of like, it's so distant from Superman if you think about it.
Right.
But, you know, you see the politics.
No,
and
that's true. I
stuff,
would
and-
love like you know you're saying you don't want to see this, but I would almost love like a Zod's revolution and how it got quashed type thing. But
Right.
I mean,
We've
I'm
been
sure,
with
I'm
Zod
sure
so many
that will
times that-
happen.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
So,
They said one of the girls' name was Zod, right?
yeah, that's the Zod. The girl that
it's-
Seg is like hooking up with, that's the
That's the
Zod,
Zod
family.
family.
Yeah, yeah that's the
Yeah.
whole.
Kneel before Zod.
Yeah.
I
so,
like Zod.
to give specifics here, Rotten Tomatoes said 55%.
Out of 100.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the website, so Rotten Tomatoes said, quote, Krypton's eccentricity declines into silliness with a dull narrative that fails to fulfill a promising premise.
First of all, I have to say I hate Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay.
Not the fruit or the vegetable.
Well, I don't like Rotten Tomatoes.
No,
either.
but
They're
I'm
delicious.
just saying their critics are very over the top, and I don't follow it because I mean I'm not a critic or anything. But every time you read Rotten Tomatoes, they're like, oh, this is shit, this is blah.
Well, it's
this
just
is
a
that.
collection of other critics, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is,
And-
but I don't like it because I'm my own critic, and sure,
Right.
like there are other places.
Oh
where
yeah, I mean,
Oh, no, yeah.
like your
I
own
just,
stuff,
I
absolutely.
just don't like Rotten Tomatoes. I'm
Yeah.
just not a fan of
And
them.
I'm not letting these reviews like affect my opinion. Like I said, I
No.
thought it was an interesting show. I just
Yeah.
wanted to bring it up because it was this huge show that was hyped so much, and then you get Metacritic, for people that don't know, is like kind of
It's a little bit harder to do well.
Yeah.
on Metacritic.
it's harder in that it's basically it takes critics that review on different articles on websites and newspapers, like the Metacritic. They had a reviewer from the LA Times,
Right.
San Francisco Chronicle, whatever. They gave it a weighted average, and it's aggregated, of course, of 53 out of 100.
pretty low.
Basically mixed or average reviews there.
Yeah.
And
that's
then-
just the pilot, so
I mean,
Right,
that honestly, that's
it's scary.
that seems right on the money for me.
You
Yeah.
think so? Yeah.
I really do.
I really
So-
hope it gets better because I do like the backstory.
Yeah, I'll certainly root
but-
for it. I
Not
just was not impressed.
the review. Those honestly weren't as scary to me as much as this. So a pilot is usually it's a premiere of the show, obviously. And
It's usually your best episode.
right in
Yeah.
terms of viewers.
Yeah.
The pilot did a 1.3.
yeah.
Which is like
That's not good.
Arrow status this year, basically, to put that into
Yeah,
perspective.
it's not
which
good.
is not good.
It's not good.
Which I was honestly so surprised. I thought there was like a bunch of people
And
that
I
were
feel
going to watch
I feel
this. And
so bad because sci-fi has been doing very poorly in their TV shows.
Yeah.
I know. I used to
And-
watch Battlestar religiously too back in the
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
I think the only thing on sci-fi now that I watch is Winona Earp. I think that's on
I've heard of
sci-fi.
it.
Yeah.
But like my other show, I think it was Shannara Chronicles used to be on Sci-Fi, and it got canceled and then picked up by another network, and I just feel really bad for Sci-Fi.
Yeah, and I was actually a little excited to watch it too, and
I was
it's-
excited.
and
was.
I was interested in the show, but now like I see all this, and I feel like it might get canceled like quickly now. So
But anyway,
Unless it
that's-
improves in a big way. I honestly
Yeah.
think it'll be better if they do cancel it because if you have something that's this poor, not to disagree.
No,
but
no,
I just think the
fine.
product is so bad that it's better
Yeah.
to just take it
there
behind
were
the barn and shoot it.
there were better ways to
Yeah,
approach
yeah.
Krypton.
Kind of want to see Super Dog too. I always forget.
Super.
There's like
Dog.
super pets and stuff. Super pet. Batman's got a pet too. Like
Yeah.
these things exist.
It isn't. But
All right,
anyway,
well, that was
that's
that.
our opinions on Krypton. If you haven't watched it, you probably should or shouldn't. It's
I
up
mean,
to
give
you.
it a
I
You must be
shot.
really pumped to watch it after that.
give it a shot. I wanted to bring up the review because I was very interested in what people, and I wanted to
Yeah.
see what you guys thought
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't.
We don't know how many episodes it has ordered.
No, I was looking. It doesn't say.
I mean,
but
average is usually 13, and then
Yeah.
you see what happens.
I wonder if
from
they
there.
did all 13. I wonder if it's like
I don't
6
know.
or
I
something.
don't know. But
Wow.
anyway, that's
But-
it for us this week.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for tuning in. We're on everything possible social media. I will post the Flash Lego picture on Instagram.
might have to watch that now.
We are the Vigilante-Verse on Instagram.
At
Yes.
Vigilante-Verse
Yes,
on
at
Twitter,
Yep.
SoundCloud, iTunes,
We're on
Google Play.
everything.
Google Play.
We're on Reddit. And we're actually today we're wearing 3 different shirts.
I know. Look at this.
I'm wearing my Superman shirt that says "Save Me" in the back, which I thought was relevant because we're
I like
talking about
that
Krypton.
Yeah.
Flash, obviously Chris because Chris is obsessed, and the Lego thing, so that's
The
perfect
Lego,
for
oh,
you.
perfect.
I would say watch the Lego movie. It's not
Yeah.
that bad. It's not that
Yeah.
bad. Yeah.
And then Dan's wearing his Arrow shirt
Arrow,
because he
yes.
was upset that there was no new
yeah.
episode of
'cause-
Arrow.
Well, also because I found out the night of that there wasn't a show.
I
was
found out, like,
oh,
Thank God you got my text, guys.
seriously, would have watched the same episode.
I
But yeah,
know.
so next week we have everything but Supergirl, Flash, and right. That's it.
Yeah, everything's back except Supergirl and Flash.
Okay, so yeah, cool.
And
Arrow.
it's gonna be episode 10, so we might have to like pop some bubbly.
Yeah.
Be like celebration.
Yeah,
You guys
we'll,
can
we'll
listen-
celebrate. The viewers can listen to us.
You can listen to the
celebrate.
carbonation.
You're gonna hear me do the
Yeah,
pop
exactly.
pop of the champagne
We're having
bottle.
some nice pizza. Wow, we're
Yeah.
really punishing our fans here. That's great. No,
That's
I'm just
all right.
kidding.
If you're hungry.
Yeah.
No.
right,
so
well,
thank you
yeah.
again, and
Yeah,
we'll
we'll
be
see you
back
next week.
Friday.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
All the best.